to another episode of Collector's Quest. I'm Tyler here with Johnny. Johnny, what's going on?
Not much, Tyler. How's it going?
Johnny, I was thinking about something I said last episode. I said StarCraft is the video game with the highest skill ceiling. But then I've also been thinking about the true esport, some of the most hardcore gamers there are, chess players. Because a lot of competitive chess is played online. Although the biggest tournaments, I believe, are over the board.
So let me clarify. If it is played online and it is a game, it's a board game? Like, it's not, like, we're removing the board portion. It's now a video game?
Oh, chess is 100% a video game. Chess.com, billion-dollar website. Like, chess
Magic
is
the
huge.
Gathering?
Magic the Gathering Arena. Absolutely, that's an esport. What are you talking about?
I'm not saying it's not an esport. I'm just saying, like, it's a video game?
Yes, absolutely.
Does Magic have a higher skill ceiling than chess?
No.
Why? The permutations that are available in Magic are infinite. Chess, there's a finite number.
It's infinite, but there's a more finite number of good moves, I would say, in Magic. I feel like when I played my same legacy decks, like I'd play the same deck for like years. So I had like my I had a High Tide deck and I had a Red Deck Wins deck. And I played it essentially the same way every time. I just have to know, like, what are the 4 or 5 meta decks that I'm going to come up against. And, like, I make the same moves all the time. But every game of chess is essentially different.
I mean, there is, like, a very finite move. Like, to me, playing chess is like playing the same decks against each other. You're just in a mirror match the whole time. It's the same 2 decks, mirror match.
I don't understand high-level chess, but I feel like the highest level chess players win more often than the highest level Magic players because Magic has an element of randomness to it.
100%.
You know what also has an element of randomness to it? StarCraft.
Poker.
Because there is hidden information. Ooh, poker. Poker. Esport with a very high skill ceiling. You know, I mean, I'm just going to say poker may be higher skill ceiling than Magic. I don't know.
The range of hands is like, look, people can do anything. True. But I mean, all the same things apply in Magic and you're only working from one deck and there's only so many things that can happen.
All right. Maybe right in, like, I mean, these are all really good choices between StarCraft, chess, Magic, and poker.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is not me shitting on the other ones, like incredibly skilled, like this is like, I know that's what it sounds like. I'm just fighting the fight as I always do.
Of course. But so even thinking about chess, I'm thinking like, man, people like they discover that only like a few people have like the gift and they become these 8-year-old chess prodigies. And then they study their whole life and like they'll be playing chess when they're like 55 years old. And, you know, you'll see like Gary Kasparov playing whatever tournament when he's like an old man. I mean, he's an old man now, but 40, 50 when I think of professional competitions is getting kind of old. But then I think of StarCraft, which has this element of metagame, but it also has like the Twitch reflex element. It has the strategy element. It has the hidden information element. It does have the randomness element. And the metagame is constantly changing. And because it has the Twitch reflex element to micromanaging battles, you can only be good at StarCraft between the ages of like 15 and your 20s. You can't play StarCraft once you're in like your 30s and beyond because you'll never be able to compete with the teenagers anymore. So does that mean StarCraft has a higher skill ceiling or is it lower because you can only train in StarCraft for like a decade? Whereas in chess, you could train your whole life to be good at chess or poker. Because I feel like the skill ceiling is higher in StarCraft, but because you can't play StarCraft your whole life at that level, people maybe can't reach the skill ceiling as they might be able to in chess, where you just look at a chessboard for 50 years of your life and you become some kind of savant.
Yeah, that's hard. I'm gonna say I'm gonna leave it over to chess too, because I mean it depends. Like, oh well, you know, having those Twitch is a skill set, but that's of a diminishing return for a certain time in your life. Like, you can't be good really when you're too young. You can't be good when you're too old. I mean, you'll be good, but you can't be at the top. And I mean, it depends. Like, are you valuing being athletic or the muscle element or the mental element. StarCraft is kind of a weird blend because you look at sports, you're like, well, you can only be good in sports for like this tiny range, and that's when you'll be your best. And that's fine. We all accept that in sports and we move on. But video games is kind of like a weird in between where it's somehow grasping both elements.
Is StarCraft the chess boxing of video games because it requires brains and brawn?
The sweetest science. No.
Does chess boxing have a higher skill ceiling than anything? Because you need the physical and you need chess, and chess in general already is like we're contending it for highest skill ceiling. So chess boxing naturally.
I'm not going to follow you this far down the rabbit hole.
Okay, I don't know enough about chess boxing.
Yeah, me either. So I'm gonna just peel back and be like, all right, whatever you say, Tyler.
All right, that was my conversation to start the episode.
Right.
You got anything going on, Johnny?
No. We're here, Tyler, and we've done the thing that people have been asking us to do for quite some time. And I'm going to tell you, of all the So You Want to Collects, this one has been the most daunting.
I'm spoiling a major theme of the episode here right off the bat, Johnny. In the research for this episode, I already knew GameCube games were expensive, and even just like some of the price increases that happened this year. This year's only been like a month and a half long. I can't believe GameCube prices, Johnny. People are into GameCube.
GameCube is a set that I went like kind of hard in the variants for, and I feel like I know a lot about it, but there's also it's a pretty sniffed out system, but there's still like a lot of variants people don't talk about. GameCube is a weird thing. I don't know why. Like I felt much more comfortable talking about the Wii, and that's like a huge system. I think because maybe less people care about the Wii, and like Nintendo, I knew we were going to get some stuff wrong, but I knew there was enough like mind share that we were going to do like an okay job. Same with Super Nintendo. GameCube, it's just like, oh man, like the people who love GameCube are kind of rabid, and they are willing to pay, and that makes me nervous.
It makes you nervous? Why does it make you nervous? Because you think people are overpaying for stuff?
No. Like getting stuff wrong in this episode. I don't think we are, because we do know a lot, but it's just like, oh man, like this is the episode. I've been putting it off, and here we are.
I mean,
GameCube has only gotten more expensive over time. Like every time I'm like, man, it's expensive. That never stopped. It just kept going up.
I mean, looking at our ridiculous notes, we just have a whole list of interesting, weird things. So maybe just like keep an ear out for something you might want to collect and forget how rare it is or how expensive it is. And maybe it's just something that sounds cool that you personally want to get. Because like, unless you are the GameCube man, like you cannot get all of this. Unless you're Johnny and you bought it all when it was $5. But
yeah. So yeah, GameCube is super. Yes, I don't have everything, Tyler. That Pokemon bonus disc built into the box. Like you want to pay $80,000 or $50,000 for, or whatever it was.
Oh no, there's $195,000 for a sealed.
That was a sealed one. That was a sealed one. We'll get to it later. Last thing before we jump into the GameCube, I want to say what strikes me the most about the GameCube is this is very much a system where it's get the right version of the game. So yeah, that's true with like Super Nintendo. Make sure you don't get the oval seal, but GameCube, by get the right version, it's not like there's a collective right version. There's so many variants. You can choose so many different paths that your right version is going to might be a little bit different. So it's an exciting collectible. I feel like there's a lot of collectible avenues with this system, more so than other ones, because like this is where we're finally getting some of these modern conventions in, but we're still not like all the way to super online play with everything. So GameCube is a nice middle ground system. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that system? Give me a brief history.
A brief history of the GameCube. Johnny, GameCube was released in November of 2001 alongside the Microsoft Xbox and a year after the PlayStation 2. And if you're a year after the PlayStation 2, like the greatest console of all time, you've already lost. So kind of sorry to GameCube and Xbox. Both good consoles. Love GameCube and Xbox. You didn't even beat PS2 to the punch. You lost. Sorry. It plays DVDs, by the way. Um, it was the first console Nintendo moved to disc media. They're finally like, what are we doing manufacturing these cartridges? But man, we hate piracy. Oh, we're Nintendo. We refuse. We refuse to use regular ass DVD optical discs. So we're going to use these tiny little stupid, I think they're like 1.3 or 1.4 gigabyte discs to prevent piracy. And all that meant is like you got like slightly worse cutscenes on some of the multi-platform games. In general, though, it was one of Nintendo's most powerful consoles. Like one of the consoles they really competed on the hardware front. Like NES was no slouch. Super Nintendo was obviously more powerful than the Sega Genesis. N64 looks like N64. And then you look at like Wii U and Switch, which are kind of garbage compared to their contemporaries. But like Gamecube was up there. Like Gamecube had some of the best looking games of the entire generation. Like you look at Metroid Prime, like I would definitely put that up there as one of the best looking games of that generation, even against like some of the best looking Xbox games.
Oh, absolutely. And this is, what did I say to you in our chat earlier? This is this is like Nintendo, one of Nintendo's greatest victories and also its greatest defeat at the same time.
Absolutely. The worst selling console besides the Wii U, as beloved as it is.
Yeah. So, and it went into this generation going to compete. This is the system where Nintendo figured out, oh, we can't do and play the same game that Xbox and PlayStation are doing. We have to go a different road. And GameCube, it's like, okay, we're going to do it. We're going to do discs like PlayStation. Okay. We're going to change our controller and like movable camera angle, even though people don't. Fine, you can at me about the yellow camera button. It's trash. Like just put a normal stick there, like garbage. But Nintendo was like, all right, we're fighting it out on graphics. We're gonna fight it out, like make a more normal controller this time, even though they still Nintendo'd it up a little bit. And they
still
graphics.
Better than PS2 and their stupid tacked on analog sticks. So yeah. I'm not giving too much shit to the GameCube controller.
No, I'm saying that it's fine. I just don't like the small nub on the the camera.
Stupid.
It's So like the button shapes were fine and actually pretty good. Like they did color variants. They were competing in the arena that the game makers were all trying to do. They were doing the thing. They were one of the crowd, a crowd that they helped pioneer and create. And even with a powerful system and good games, they failing to put the DVD player in it, a major strike against them, helps them lose. And so it's a victory in the sense that Nintendo from this learns and goes and completely left field, and now they are what they are now, reestablish themselves in a way that GameCube was not allowing them to do. They started a lot of franchise, a lot of series here, but also failed in terms of sales and reaching the public.
And then of course for the Wii, they learned the Wii played DVD movies, which is why the Wii was just such a phenomenal success, right, Johnny?
No. Nope, still no.
Yeah, because so going back to the success of the GameCube and how it's you look at the sales of Nintendo consoles and you see NES sold 1 billion and then SNES a little bit less, N64 a lot less because it went up against PlayStation, and then GameCube even less than that because it went up against PlayStation 2. It's just a complete downward trend. But GameCube, it almost feels like Nintendo trying the hardest to me, because you look at the list of games, there are so many first-party GameCube games and mainline entries and franchises, brand new franchises. It has almost every Nintendo franchise is on the GameCube. And I mean, obviously Nintendo is fucking killing it right now with the Switch. They're on top of the world, but it doesn't feel like they're trying their hardest. Every other game on the Nintendo Switch is a remaster or re-release of a game that already exists. That is not trying, that is coasting, because you have already put in the work to be on top, and you can give people Metroid Prime 1 again, and everyone will buy it because Metroid Prime is a fucking awesome game.
Yeah, well, and that's the other thing. If you look, one of the ways I measure how a console is doing is how many games they start packing in with a system. The GameCube started packing games in, trying to move those systems, right? The Wii U had the same kind of failure. That's how you knew that the GameCube was failing, because they were trying to incentivize anything they could do to get people to buy consoles. And the GameCube, I think one of the problems is there wasn't quite enough nostalgia when the GameCube came out because the GameCube tried so hard. They're like, imagine if the Switch did this. They're just like, boom, you want some Zeldas? Here's a special edition disc with all these cool Zeldas on it. You can just have this physical media as well as this other cool game. Like, yeah, here you go. Look at this awesome freebie. Oh, you want some other, like, they were going hard. They put out so many Zelda games. Like, the one area that I think they failed in is a Mario game to, like, really capture it. But aside from that, like, I agree with you. They were trying so hard. If they had done that with the Switch, could you imagine if they were just like, here's a Switch. It's a Zelda Switch. It comes with a physical case for a bunch of, here's like the first 4 original Zelda games. Enjoy them in like one package. People would be losing their minds if that was in a special edition.
It's so funny that you bring that up because I've never thought about it like that. Like I've always thought of, you're talking about Zelda Collector's Edition, which has Zelda 2. Is that the one with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask?
Or no, that's the Collector's Edition. And then there's the bonus one, which was a pre-order, which had Zelda 1, Zelda 2. What else was in that? It was a really good package.
Okay, no, hold on. I think you're getting it wrong.
No, there's the black and silver one, right?
Yes, that's Zelda Collector's Edition.
Oh, is that Collector's? What's the other one called?
The other one is just Master Quest.
Oh, is it just Master Quest? And it comes with... Because there's another one.
And it comes with Ocarina of Time.
There's so many variants. Yeah, yes.
So the 4 games I picked on Zelda Collector's Edition are correct. It's 1, 2, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask. But, like, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask were only 1 generation old at that point. And I understand these aren't, like, the best ports of those games. Like, this is not the version of Majora's Mask you want to play. But I've always thought of this as, like, oh, that's cool. And if this came out on Switch as, like, physical media, as, like, a cool bonus thing, people would, like you said, be losing their minds and be like, where do I pre-order? I gotta get to the Best Buy page. Oh my God, what do I have to do to get this disc on my shelf?
Yeah, there would be so many internet tears right now. If that had happened, like, people are crying over, the new Breath of the Wild 2, right? Like, they are freaking out that they can't get their special edition. Could you imagine if the pre-order had this thing tacked onto it? People would be losing their shit. It would be the apocalypse right now. Twitter would be burning Nintendo down.
Yeah, that's what the GameCube is, Johnny. Pretty good console. Not a successful successful enough. It wasn't a complete failure like the Wii U.
No, I think Nintendo took a lot of lessons from the GameCube. They learned a lot and got to apply those things later. And I think you're seeing a lot of that applied to the Switch right now. But yeah, they were a little late to the party. They didn't put a DVD player, and it just couldn't quite stick when it needed to. But that led them to the Wii. So who knows?
I mean, it is the turning point. This is when they tried to compete with hardware. They tried to make, like, all the hardcore games, like every franchise that everyone would ever want. And then they're like, all right, fuck it, guys. We're going with the Wii.
That's why I'm saying it's their greatest defeat and their greatest victory all at the same time somehow. Well, it's such a Nintendo thing to happen.
I agree. So what is the system known for primarily, Johnny? I'm going to say right now it's primarily known for being the console that people in their 20s and 30s grew up with, and everyone wants to get a GameCube. We are so hyped for the goddamn GameCube, Johnny.
So hyped.
Hyped.
I played this as an adult. You know what's funny? As I got my first GameCube around this time, because my wife got it, girlfriend at the time got it for me for Valentine's Day with Metroid Prime.
Oh man,
because she loves me. Such a good gift. Like, it's super hard to top that. So.
I just want to say I have nowhere else to put it but here. I tended to not have the top tier games. Like, I had Iden Chronicles and Madden 64 on my N64 and like Blast Corps, and like I had a lot of the budget games that I got from like the $5 and under bin at KB Toys. But somehow I didn't have Super Mario Sunshine. I didn't have Super Smash Bros. Melee. But somehow I didn't miss out on Metroid Prime, man. And oh my God, it's just one of my favorite games of all time. I love everything about Metroid Prime. I love the stupid scanning. In the Nintendo Direct we just saw, like they showed scanning as part of the trailer. I couldn't even believe they showed that. I'm like, doesn't everyone hate this part of the game? But there's a lot of scanning in that game.
Yeah, you like finding out the lore and just like, I love watching my little collectibles area fill up with like, oh, your accumulated knowledge. I love that.
I want to collect all the shit. Johnny, I don't know if you know, I love collecting stuff.
Me too. That's weird, Tyler. It's like we're the same in that regard. You know what? Here, I'm going to throw out one more miss just before we move on. Another miss with Nintendo GameCube games. If you're going to make a tiny disc, make a tiny box. Like, are you telling me, like, could you imagine if GameCube were just the same size as like DS cases or GBA
Johnny,
boxes?
let me tell you about this wonderful world called Japan where they did that.
I know. They just made them
They're
small.
so
It's
cute. I love them.
In America, they're just like, here's a giant box. You're like, I don't need this. But they wanted it to look like all the other games that were out.
I mean, it makes sense because they're like competing for shelf space and they're going up against 2 other DVD consoles. Like, they don't want to seem like the smaller, dumber console. I think people in Japan understand, like, oh, this packaging is cute, this packaging is sensible, and Americans are idiots, so they're like, oh, the box is smaller? That must be the worst game.
Look at Nintendo and its tiny penis. I can't buy that.
It's small because kids are small, because GameCube is for kids, and that's why it has a handle so they can bring it to school?
Yep. It's like a lunchbox. Also, the handle, like, who are we kidding? No one was taking that thing places, were they?
Come on, you're bringing it to your Mario Party LAN parties, something they totally had planned when they put that handle on the GameCube.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, they did build a modem adapter for it, so what do you want?
Yep, for all those games, Phantasy Star, Mario Kart, is there another one?
I don't know. Anyways, that's what it's primarily known for. That and all the hype. I think right now it's known for the hype and the expense of the system. Somehow, like, remember it used to just be the Saturn. We'd just be talking about, like, man, the Saturn, everything is so expensive on the Saturn. And that still might be true, but it feels like the GameCube, like, seriously, what the F is happening? Everything is so expensive.
Oh my God, John! They were talking about, like, oh, Wii U is going to be the next Sega Saturn. GameCube already is the next Sega Saturn. There are games for like hundreds and hundreds of dollars on this piece of shit.
Thousands, even.
Jesus,
if you wanted to,
right?
And
like the Pokemon box is practically Daytona USA Netlink edition in terms of like desirability and rarity. I don't know which one's actually rarer. But there are plenty of games in like that hundreds of dollars range. Like, it is practically the Sega Saturn in terms of prices, at least. Not in terms of a lot of other things, but...
No. I'm going to say that the Pokemon box more desirable than Netlink.
Oh, desirability? Absolutely. Yeah. There's plenty of people who have no fucking idea what Daytona Netlink is and will never care.
But they're still both like weird, like you had to get it from one specific location kind of things. It's a good comparable.
All right. So we don't talk about things without explaining them. Daytona Netlink was a mail order exclusive version of Daytona USA for the Sega Saturn that's worth like $5,000 now. The only difference is that it's the third version of Daytona USA, but it adds network play support.
Yep.
And it changes all the physics again because they couldn't stop fucking with Daytona USA.
Some more rundown of just basic info before we get into the game stuff. Hey, the mascot is still Mario for this system.
Are you sure? Is it really? Could it be Luigi? Because Luigi's Mansion is really the iconic launch title. Is this the system of Luigi?
It kind of is. This is... I think you could make that argument. Also, like, this is my least favorite Mario game. By like a long
Super Mario Sunshine?
Yep.
Have you played like New Super Mario Brothers 2?
Yes.
There is no way that you like New Super Mario Brothers 2 more than Super Mario Sunshine.
I don't like Super Mario. Like, I don't like the aesthetic of it. Like, it's a fun game. It's a Mario game. It's not. I hate that place. I hate Delphi Island. Get me out of here. Like, I don't like... What are the creatures on there? The Delfinos, or what are they called?
Yeah, is it Delfinos? Sure, let's go with that.
I forget. That's probably wrong, but you know what I'm talking about. They look like they're weird looking. I just did not enjoy anything about it. It just did not feel very Mario to me. And the setting is really one note. Like in Mario,
100%. All the levels feel the fucking same. And like, fine, they'll put like a haunted house or they'll put like a harbor, but man, it's so beachy and tropical.
Yeah, and I'm not into that at all. And like, and other one, Mario Worlds, you're going to worlds. You're just like new settings. That's, that was like my fear of Mario Galaxy. Like you'd go and it would just be like, oh, this one note space theme that they were trying, but they made it like really rich and interesting. And this one did not do that. And like the water backpack, Mario, you know what's cool about Mario? How fucking cool it is to jump with Mario all on his own. Like in the cool Mario running and jumping you do. And they're like, nah, let's kind of take that out. You got a water backpack now. I'm like, what is happening? And then they're like, you know who else needs a backpack? Luigi. Let's put him in a mansion. Way cooler setting than the beach.
I mean, I don't know what to say about your comparison to Luigi's Mansion here, but I will say Super Mario Sunshine is like weirdly difficult, and it is very interesting that Nintendo's mainline Mario game is like weirdly fiddly and difficult because they have never and will never make a Mario game like it again. Like there are stars that are shines that are genuinely hard in Super Mario Sunshine, and I've never felt like in Super Mario Odyssey, like the only hard part is like finding out what I have to do to get a moon. It's never actually like hard platforming to get it.
It's just one of the biggest misses on the whole system that they didn't make like a more, I don't want to say accessible, but a more classically Mario game.
I agree. I think if they fix the graphics, like something about the graphics just is not appealing in Super Mario Sunshine, and they gave more variety to the levels, I think it would be easier to overlook the flaws just because it would be a much more inviting and colorful Mario game.
Yep.
I don't know. That's just
or if they just made another one, if they just made, Mario GC, as they love to do their bullshit titles, which is also a weird thing. Like this was one of the Nintendo consoles where they didn't like Nintendo up all the titles.
Yeah, I never noticed that. That's pretty great. Good job, Nintendo. You didn't have a stupid gimmick.
Yep. Anyways, so Mario, a reluctant mascot who was a little bit of a failure on this system, but he's still the face of the system. Let's talk about how many games are on the set. This is one of my favorite things to do. Let's talk numbers. I'm going to tell you that there are 558 games on the GameCube. Now, everyone out there on the internet arguing with me already. Yes, it depends on how you count. If you count Metroid and Wind Waker, combo as one game, like as a unique title, or you don't have to count that because each one has its own thing. We could get into a counting war all over. I'm going to give you a range now because I've learned between about 552 to 558, depending on how you are counting. Maybe even 553 I'm a little more comfortable with, but there you go. That's like your range of the amount of games this system has.
All right. I'm going to do everyone a favor. Everyone go ahead, take Metroid Prime Wind Waker. You can just take it off your list. It's fine. You already have both those games on your list. You don't need the double pack on your list. But unfortunately, I am going to need you to have the outer cardboard box to Pokemon box. So I'm taking like $500 off your list and adding in another like $2,000 to your list.
Well, I mean, if you're buying, didn't we talk about how the box, like if you can find one, people are so hyped for it, they're like the premium on the box hadn't really shown up yet? Or did it finally start showing up?
What are you talking about? For Pokemon box?
Yeah.
Pokemon box, like outer boxes, just do not come up for sale now.
Okay.
There's none. There's one on eBay for $7,000. Like, good luck, everybody. Oof. The last one sold like 3 months ago, and it was in garbage shape for $1,500.
Just the box or the whole game?
The whole game. But it was really sad, like water stained, water damaged, crushed, ripped, scotch tape, the whole works, and it was $1,500 still. I'm just specifically remembering previously on this show, I've always been very like, if you don't have the outer box to Pokemon box, you're a fucking garbage person. But it is so expensive now, like I get it. It's ridiculous.
Like, never mind, you're just a person now. You're just a a reasonable human. Man, that is a big retreat for you. I
mean, I wouldn't be happy. It would bother me forever. But you know what I do? I don't collect the GameCube set, Johnny.
Just take that $5,000 you didn't spend on it and dry your eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Shall we talk about launch games?
Sure, Johnny. Let me run down the launch games for the GameCube in America. It was Luigi's Mansion, Wave Race, Blue Storm, Super Monkey Ball, Star Wars Rogue Leader, All-Star Baseball 2002, Madden 2002, NHL Hits 2002, Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX 2, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, 2 extreme sports games, Disney's Tarzan Untamed, Crazy Taxi, and Batman Vengeance.
All right. How are we going to rate this as launch titles? How do you feel about it?
It's all
Give
right.
me a letter grade. Give me a
I
letter
mean,
grade.
I'm never gonna see a launch lineup and be like, wow, all of those are fucking awesome. Because
No.
people are always gonna rush out like some sports games and some shit for launch.
And you're trying to appeal to the whole audience, not just like a couple. Yeah.
I mean, if I'm buying a console, I want to probably buy 2 or 3 games with it. And especially if I'm a kid, I'm probably getting 2. And I would get Luigi's Mansion and Super Monkey Ball. And to me, that would be fucking rad. And that would be all I need until they come out with Super Smash Brothers or whatever's coming up next.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is okay. I give this like a C+.
Yeah, sure.
Because there's no one like, yeah, I know you love Super Monkey Ball. Luigi's Mansion has like a wide audience, but there's not like that one true banger here that like just like, oh my God, kills it, you know? So I'm gonna put this in the C+
a little
range.
weird for Nintendo because they have always launched their consoles up until this point with the Mario banger, except for like Game Boy. We're not going to call Super Mario Land a fucking banger, guys. Yeah, Luigi's Mansion, I think everyone felt weird about that when that came out, right? I remember very much thinking like, what the fuck is going on? We got a Luigi game. And then it got...
Maybe you're right. Maybe Luigi is just the mascot.
If Luigi had like one other game ever besides New Super Luigi U, I would love to call Luigi the GameCube mascot, like the secret GameCube mascot.
Yeah, I don't know. Mario's still too prominent.
Yeah, he's not like everything.
Yeah. And then the last game that came out for this system was Madden NFL 08 in 2007. So, you know, like a lot of times we bring up the last game because it's like a rare collectible and like people usually have to go get it. Nope, this is not that one. So it's like $30. Enjoy not being punished by the last game.
I wanted it to be interesting. I was looking for like an edge case of anything that would be more interesting than a Madden game. No, it's not even rare. It's just, you could just go get it. No. There's like a bunch of them on eBay. Maybe don't get it.
For the GameCube, it's $30, which means a cheap game. We'll talk more about that later. And let's see, unlicensed stuff, any?
Johnny, Max Play Classic Games 01 in Europe. It's a collection of knockoff 80s arcade games in a GBA emulator, I believe. It's a real piece of work. Kind of amazing that it exists. I don't know if there are details on how it was actually made. I've read somewhere, I don't know if this is speculation, it was made by cutting the security part of a disc out of some official GameCube disc and then pasting their own disc onto that, but I don't know if that's actually real. It sounds insane.
That sounds insane.
For them to go through all that effort to make like this shitty knockoff arcade game collection is bananas. It is crazy that this exists, but really good news, it's like $20 or $30. It is like a really cheap game in Europe. And I think it's really interesting for the price.
It is interesting, and it's not expensive. So, I guess it at least is interesting, but...
There's a lot more expensive, less interesting GameCube things, I will say. There are like variants that are like, oh, that's kind of cool, and they're like $500. So if you can get something that's like, oh, that's kind of cool for $20, I'm in, sure.
I don't disagree. Some of the weird stuff I'll buy. Just look, I'm glad it's interesting because It could have been like really boring. And at least this is a thing that happened. Whoops, Tyler, we missed one to fill out. Subsets and new franchises. So Pikmin is a major new franchise that came out here.
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I'm just gonna mention all these in like the key franchises because all the new franchises are kind of key franchises on GameCube.
As far as like subsets, people do collect Nintendo published stuff here. There's not like a black box set. One thing that people do go after here is the big box games. Like GameCube big box lore is real, and there's like some real expensive games in there, special editions. Some of this is propped up by Pokemon Box, but I would say really that's the only like kind of true subset that people go after. People are always going to be after your Marios, your Zeldas and stuff like that. You know, people who just collect certain franchises forever. But no, there's not like one weird subset that people are
I
totally
agree with that
after.
from what I've seen.
Like big boxes are a thing. That's like the real thing on the GameCube. But we'll talk more about those later. I guess I should talk about prices.
How much would it cost me to buy every single one of those 558 GameCube games, Johnny. Something everyone should do, by the way.
You should immediately start saving. So first caveats, this information is pulled from price charting, which means it's a median average and they get some stuff wrong, all of that. So I would really you could put it at like 18 to like 40,000. And I couldn't really fight you, but I tallied up their stuff, removed a bunch of the garbage inputs that they had in there, like extra games that shouldn't be in their preview disc and stuff, and just like black label games. And it came out to about 23,000, which is a lot of money. A lot of money, right?
But then you have every GameCube game. And if you're a millennial, that makes you the coolest millennial. Or maybe older Gen Z. I don't really know.
That's still cheaper than a lot of other systems. So there's that. The average price for a game for this system, again, if you go look at price charting, they're going to tell you $32 a game. I don't understand how that average is calculated, because when I ran the average, even including their garbage stuff, it was around $41 to $42. So I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. And I ran into the same problem last time I calculated an average for a set for them. So the calculated average, according to me, and according to the list that I was looking at of 558 games, is about $41. There you go. And then just a real quick note. Tyler, tell the people if they should collect this system loose or complete.
Definitely complete. Johnny, I'm just gonna give a specific recommendation here. Go get your what is the Game Boy Advance player, the Game Boy player. Go get the stupid little case for that thing, because it comes in one of the cute Japanese cases. Get rid of your Game Boy Advance player loose disc. It needs a home. And don't tell me those are like $200 now, and I'm being some elitist asshole. I don't know. I know those have always been kind of desirable, but I just remember even like 10 years ago trying to buy a Game Boy player, the disc was always loose, and it drove me nuts. What happened?
Missing, and that's
the disc had a home. What did people do with the case?
I don't know. I think people like got rid of stuff and then like just had the disc in their system and maybe disconnected stuff, and they were like, oh, I don't know. Also, you need this disc to use the Game Boy player. I don't know if any of the mods found a way to circumvent that, but if you're just going native, the system right out of the box, and you want to attach that Game Boy player, which you should do because the Game Boy player is awesome, you're going to need that disc. So make sure you get one.
Actually, Game Boy interface, I'm Googling this real fast and doing it from memory, but there's a homebrew disc that's actually a better version of Game Boy player that like fixes like resolution stuff.
Oh, good, because that's a little bit trashy.
Yep.
Anyways. But back in 2005, like that, you could just suddenly play your GBA games on the TV, which was amazing for people like
and
me.
Game Boy, and I think Game Boy Color. Yeah. I don't know. I've never tried to play a Game Boy Color game, because who would? But totally killer.
Everything. Like it was, at one point, like before the internet was like fully taking over games and everything was just online. It made me say, I guess GameCube has the best library of any system ever, because now I can play all of the portable games. And I felt like that was a really hard thing to argue, even though people wanted to. And now I'm not so sure. I think it might be the Switch, but still the Game Boy player is awesome. So, at least my nostalgia for it is awesome.
Yeah, I agree. Johnny, let me quickly go over in-demand games and key franchises. There's just a couple here that I picked out. I didn't even go through like I didn't even go through a list of games. I just basically Googled like, what are the best GameCube games? What are the Nintendo GameCube games? And I picked out probably most of them. I think the GameCube has a very strong claim to being, the most varied Nintendo console, or the console with the most Nintendo franchises on it, because every single game I'm about to say is an original game or a sequel, and it's not some fucking HD remake. It's not we bundled together Mario Galaxy and Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine onto a disc or onto a cartridge and sold it to you on Switch again. These are all fucking real games. Johnny, Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Of Time.
What?
Except for Ocarina of Time.
Except for Ocarina of Time. Oh, yeah, you're right. You see, Damn it, you got me. No, it's Master Quest. It's fucking Ocarina of Time Master Quest. That's basically a brand new game. Don't tell me. Like, there's so much different in that game.
But they also put Ocarina of Time on there.
Yes, I did. I'm not even listing Zelda Collector's Edition on this list.
Okay.
Super Smash Bros. Melee, all-time classic game, still the favorite Smash Bros. Game. Luigi's Mansion, Super Mario Sunshine, Metroid Prime 1 and 2, best 2D to 3D transition of all time, Mario Kart Double Dash, Pikmin 1 and 2, brand new series, and we got a sequel in the same generation. Zelda Wind Waker, Zelda Twilight Princess, we got 2 main Zelda games. Zelda Four Swords Adventures, Zelda Ocarina of Time Master Quest, we got an updated, different version of what everyone says is the best game of all time. Chibi Robo, the only good Chibi Robo game. Animal Crossing New Horizons became like the best-selling game on Nintendo's most popular console. F-Zero GX, the last F-Zero game we ever got. 1080 Avalanche, the last 1080 game we ever got. Paper Mario, the Thousand Year Door, people's favorite Mario RPG besides Mario RPG. Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance, which sold hundreds of thousands of copies. It is not a rare game, but people love it so much, they spend like $250 for it. Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, Pokemon Coliseum. I don't know why there's so many of these Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Coliseum games. Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. We were all so excited to get a 3D Pokemon game on the GameCube. And we didn't get it because I don't know what the fuck Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness is. But it sure isn't like Pokemon Legends Arceus, which is what everyone actually wanted. WarioWare, which is a port of the GBA game. But Wario World, we got 2 different Wario games in entirely different paradigms. Eternal Darkness, brand new IP. Star Fox Adventures, an Ocarina of Time style Star Fox game. Totally new idea. I mean, they ripped off some dinosaur game, but whatever. Star Fox Assault, people were like, we want the original Star Fox back. So they give us Star Fox Assault, which is a worse Star Fox game that people didn't like as much. 3 Mario parties, Kirby Air Ride, which according to my old game store owner, he says that people constantly ask him for Kirby Air Ride and he can never keep it in stock. There are 4 Donkey Kong games, and yeah, 3 of them are Donkey Konga, but Donkey Kong Jungle Beat's fucking awesome. Battalion Wars, a continuation of Famicom Wars. Who's even like thinking like, oh, we're gonna get a 3D Famicom Wars on fucking GameCube? That Pokemon box, I don't know. There's so many Nintendo franchises. It's the last entry of a lot of these franchises, and we got new franchises. We got multiple Zelda games. We got a Mario and a Luigi game. I mean, the last time that happened was probably with like edutainment games. Johnny, GameCube is fucking awesome.
That's weird for you to say because normally you're a little down on GameCube.
Am I? I'm definitely not down on the variety of the library.
No, the variety of the library is amazing. And like you're not wrong. Like just the sheer amount of franchises that are here, it's crazy. I mean, I think the Switch is like reaching for this, but a lot of that, like you said, is like ports and stuff. But man, the GameCube Nintendo was, like you said, Nintendo was trying so goddamn hard with this. They were pushing so hard. Look at all they did. And this still didn't succeed. If a lineup like this, if we could say all these new Nintendo franchises came out for the Switch in the span of, when did the GameCube come out? 2001? Ended in 2000?
And like a lot of these weren't super late releases. This was all in like 5 years.
So like if I said in a 5 or 6 year span that Nintendo released this many original titles, plus a bunch of other stuff too that just isn't like, the top tier stuff, you would shit yourself. You'd be like, there's no way. It can't happen.
Johnny, we didn't even get one Metroid Prime on the Switch yet.
I know. Well, we got Metroid Prime 3.
Fuck off with the remakes all the time.
And Other M. Yeah. And Trilogy.
But I mean, like, is there an F-Zero on the Switch? Is there a 1080? Is there Chibi Robo? Kind of no one cares.
And I mean, the Switch is the garbage console where they just like brought everything. I'm just surprised more of these games didn't get, like Nintendo today would have ported every single one of these games. Every single one would be a port.
Yeah, definitely. Johnny, we got a Donkey Kong game you play with bongo drums. And
which is like the most Wii thing ever, and it's still not on the Wii. I mean, Jungle
it is
Beat
the
is
most Wii thing ever.
Wii.
In fact, it was ported to the Wii because
and like that one was ported.
Yeah,
Jungle Beats, and they brought Pikmin over, but like really, like, can you believe they didn't bring like over Eternal Darkness or just like Paper Mario? That like all these games, I can't believe they had the restraint.
Has Eternal Darkness not been re-released? Isn't that like a pretty beloved game?
It is, and it's got a sweet Canadian variant.
Oh wow! Everyone's looking for those.
It's got the Canadian flag right on it. How cool is that? Or it's not the flag. I think it's just the maple leaf. Which is like cool interesting.
I mean, that's an exclusive. That's like a horror game. I'm surprised that like people love Eternal Darkness.
It just wasn't in like what they were doing with the Wii. It just wasn't part of what wouldn't have been on brand for the Wii. But I'm surprised it's not a port on the Switch yet. Well, how long till that happens?
I don't know. Really weird.
Me either. Anyways, let's talk. We just talked about a bunch of beloved franchises, but we didn't talk about any prices, which is weird for us. So tell me about the 3 most expensive games on the system, because we were talking about the system being expensive, but what does that mean?
Well, let me tell you about Pokemon Box. So I guess if you don't know, I don't even know what Pokemon Box is. I've never played Pokemon Box.
It's not even a game.
It is Pokemon Box Ruby and Sapphire. It is a Pokemon management system for the 2 GBA games. I'm sure it like works with Emerald and stuff too, maybe. I mean, a big part of playing Pokemon is the biggest scam ever, because even as a kid, I always wanted to have both games. And it's like when I got Pokemon Gold, my brother had to get Pokemon Silver because I wanted to use both of our Game Boys to trade to each other, because the whole idea is that you want all the Pokemon. And even to this day, I'm a grown-ass man. I don't buy the Pokemon games anymore because I kind of like realize they're scams. But if I was buying Pokemon Scarlet, I would go and also get Pokemon whatever the red one is. Scarlet is red. Violet? Is it Scarlet? I don't know. I would get both. And I think a lot of people do get both. There are probably people who get both Pokemon games and then also get like the exclusive double pack that includes a steelbook or something. Huge scam. Pokemon Box fed into that scam by giving you a way to manage. So if you have like both versions of the game, you can like load them up on your GameCube and then transfer them onto whichever game you wanted without needing multiple Game Boys to trade with yourself. Honestly, if I was playing those games, that would be super useful, because I think Pokemon management is a fucking nightmare. Maybe it's better in the newer games, but like this would have been a useful product. Not a product I would have spent $60 on or whatever I'm sure it cost, but useful thing. Anyway, not a lot of people thought that would be a useful thing. You told me that it was only sold at the Nintendo store in New York. Is that true?
Nintendo, yeah, that's where it was sold.
Okay. Yeah. And because of that, it comes in a big box. It comes in a big box. It has a smaller box, regular GameCube box in it, a GBA link cable, a memory card, and then stickers that you put on the memory card. So it's a standard size GameCube big box. And that box is fucking always missing, because what crazy person keeps a cardboard box? Guys, this is before video game collecting was really big. I think the first real big stint of video game collecting started around 2008. I mean, obviously, people are collecting Atari and stuff, but man, GameCube was garbage when it was contemporary, obviously. It's nothing like Switch now. Like, people collect Switch now. No one was collecting GameCube in 2005. That would have been ridiculous. Anyway, this box, over $2,000, maybe well over $2,000 for a nice one, because they don't exist. Like I said, there was one on eBay sold for $1,500, and it was like pulled out of a sewer. And the only one on eBay right now has a $7,000 buy it now, but it's pretty nice.
So what's crazy to me is, like, normally you're not willing to put this much hype on something so modern, and you for sure are.
Absolutely. Like I've definitely recognized that this just doesn't come up. There's so much rare stuff that is just like, there's 3 of them on eBay. Like, I know there's only those 3 on eBay, but it's like, there's fucking 3 of them, and there's none. There's one on eBay that's ridiculously overpriced. And if there's only one, like, I'm willing to say, like, this just doesn't come up.
And I just want to add a point of clarity. So if you're looking for like the Nintendo World Nintendo World Store in New York. It's now just called Nintendo New York. It used to be called Nintendo World and the Pokemon Center, which is why this was exclusive to it. And that store opened in 2005.
Oh, this is exclusive to the Pokemon Center. That makes a lot more sense. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to give that because you seemed like so baffled. I'm like, let me give some clarity. All right.
I don't know. I swear it was sold at Target, but also
it was not.
It wasn't. Sure. My next, my list is so I've got some attitude. I put who cares? Disney basketball ? Which is correct.
Disney sports basketball, $700.
I put $600 to $1,200, Johnny. There was a $1,200 sale for this not long ago, but there has also been sales less than that. I don't know if there was something special about it. Maybe it was just really, really nice.
It could be the Christmas effect. I'm using straight up just like, this is what price charting said, which is not the end all be all.
Yeah. Man, what? $1,000 for Disney sports basketball? Like, we're really getting into crazy town now if we're talking about this. I don't know,
I just don't understand how this happened. I don't know what happened where Disney... Like, the confluence of events that we got to where Disney sports basketball arrived at this price is very confusing to me.
And it's like, there are some copies of it. Like, I get it. Like, the Sculptor's Cut box is like, it's rare to get a Sculptor's Cut box. It's really rare to get a Sculptor's Cut manual. Sculptor's Cut is very overpriced, and I don't think the price makes a lot of sense. But like Disney sports basketball, it's uncommon / rare, but there are a bunch of them out there. $1,000? There's so much hype behind GameCube right now. It's out of control.
Yeah, I don't know what happened here. I remember when it got to $300. And I was so confused. I was just like, how is this happening?
I remember that too.
In what world does this happen?
Because this wasn't a game. Now, this is like within like past 5 years, this game even became a thing, right?
Yeah. And it's not, again, like you're saying, it's like, well, how many are out there? Well, if like I just go to eBay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, that one's missing a manual, but 5, 6. There's 6.
If there's more than 2, like $1,000 is too much.
7. Oh, yeah.
$1,000 is too much for most games, let alone like an absolute shelf filler. And you know there are people out there that are like hyping it like, well, it's Disney and people will pay anything for Disney. It's like, what the fuck?
I would do that. I would be one of the guys being like, damn man, Disney games deserve hype. And it's also Konami. Like Disney and Konami, like these are 2 factors, but I'm still confused. So the game is so expensive and it's got so much hype behind it, it's dragging the PAL copies up in price. Because normally when it's like super expensive in America, it's like nothing in PAL, but people are asking $200 or more for PAL copies now. So we're really in crazy territory. Even the Japanese copies, people are trying to get like $80 for. And I'm just like, what is happening?
Wow. Okay. Yep. All right. And then Gotcha Force, which is like what I would have put on the top of this list, or maybe Cubivore, like a few years ago before Disney basketball rose to prominence. Gotcha Force
to dethrone everybody.
Yeah. But also like $700 to $800. We just had an episode on like Mega Man vs. Gotcha Force. And we were talking about Gotcha Force being like $500. And now it's like solidly $700 to $800.
Which is crazy.
Man, someone messaged me on Instagram. I don't think I got back to them yet. So here's my response to you. I'm just going to talk to you on the show now. But they were telling me that, like, yes, I had a point about Mega Man, but they were saying, like, how many times has Mega Man been re-released? Because there's all these, like, Mega Man legacy collections, and even GameCube has a Mega Man collection that literally has Mega Man on it. And Gotcha Force, it's a GameCube exclusive. It's never been released, and it never will be released. I mean, that is a point. That is a point that we didn't bring up on the episode, that there is an exclusivity factor to Gotcha Force. But you know what?
I think we did say that, but also it hasn't been really released because no one cares.
Disney Sports Basketball. Oh, it's on Game Boy Advance too. It's a different game. Doesn't count. I think exclusive games are cool, but like there's a limit to what I'm going to pay. I'll give an example, like Metal Wolf Chaos. I get that's no longer an exclusive, but it's a good example. Like, I think Metal Wolf Chaos is like fucking like super rad, like absolute top 10 Xbox game. And it's an exclusive, so I think it deserves whatever high price it commands, if that's like a $100-$200 game now. But if, like, this is something we bring up, like, who can bring to mind the gameplay of Gotcha Force? Because how many people actually play and talk about it? And now I feel like we're going to get angry messages, like maybe Gotcha Force is like a secretly classic game that everybody loves and talks about and actually plays.
Sure.
Because GameCube seems super popular, but like I've met 0 people in my life who have ever played Gotcha Force. And I think I've met like 1 person who has played Cubivore.
I agree with you. So that's, how much is that one? You said like $700 to $800?
$700-$800.
It's crazy. And just for all the dissenters, see, we were just going to list the top 3, but for people who are like, well, Pokemon Box isn't a game, the next game that would be on the list would be Metroid Prime and the Zelda Wind Waker combo at like $650-ish. So that you're like, okay, those don't count either. So then next in line is Cubivore, guys. It's Cubivore. It's hanging out there. It's like $550, and Go-Go Hyper Grind is sitting behind that at like $450. So there you go. And then just because I can't not mention it, Tyler, what happened to NCAA College Basketball 2K3? Remember when that was the hottest shit on GameCube ever?
Like, yes. So what were we talking? Like maybe 10 years ago? Maybe even longer than that, 10, 15 years ago. But yeah, NCAA College Basketball 2K3. I bet there's like a Racket Boy article or there's like some blog post that puts this up as the rarest GameCube game. And it's not. But it's definitely uncommon in the way that like all NCAA basketball games are definitely less common than their NBA counterparts. I don't remember the exact story behind NCAA 2K3. It wasn't recalled or anything, right? It's not like super rare, but it is just one of those games that used to be like the thing game. It was like people, if you had an NCAA 2K3, you were hot shit.
It was the GameCube game. It was the top of the mountain. Even over Pokemon Box, which people were talking about, but it did not have the hype. Yeah, this game was like, oh my God, can you believe that game's already $100?
Yeah, like no one was talking about Go-Go fucking Hyper Grind or Disney Sports Basketball back when people thought that like...
No one was talking about Gotcha Force at all. They were talking about this game.
Yeah, there are definitely people who like bought sealed copies of NCAA 2K3 and were like, oh my God, this is going to be such an investment for the future because this will always be the game on top. And now it doesn't even make like the top 5.
Yeah.
But it's still up there. I mean, $200 to $350, it's still expensive. It still sucks if you have to buy it.
Yeah, if you're doing a set. Anyways, so that's the most expensive stuff.
I mean, Tyler, you cut into the actually rare games, which is all the same stuff, Johnny.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
We're just flowing.
We're just flowing. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it is a very sussed out library, and I mean, no one is buying Go-Go Hyper Grind because they're like, man, I'm really into this weird Atlas skateboarding game. It's because it's an uncommon game. I don't think anything at all has the rarity of Pokemon Box. Like, the other games are all pretty gettable. They're expensive now, but they're all pretty gettable, except Pokemon Box, which is, for the most part, pretty ungettable. So that's really the only truly rare thing, I think.
All right. And of all the expensive stuff we talked about and some of the, like, you know, our top 10 most expensive list, is any of it worth paying this price? Is there something you'd be like, yeah, I mean, you're not a set collector. Is there something you're like, well, yeah, I got to go get that?
Well, I think $1,000 for Disney Sports Basketball. You have to recognize that Mickey Mouse is one of the most widely recognized worldwide mascots there is. And the NBA is fucking cool, even though it's not an NBA game. But also there's Space Jam. There's a Space Jam team in there, I think. No, wait, that's a different thing. No, I thought that, what's Goofy's rival? God, I don't know. What's
I don't know
fat
where
dog from like Goof Troop?
Pete?
Don't let Pete. Yes, Pete has a team, and for some reason I thought they were the Monstars, but then I'm like, wait, no, that's Looney Tunes.
No, and Pete has classically been a Mickey villain too.
Get off this topic. No, none of this is worth like $500 to $1,000. What are we talking about here? Go buy instead of buying Cubivore, you could buy Super Smash Brothers and Wind Waker and Twilight Princess and Mario Sunshine. You just get I know, those are common and boring and bullshit. I think GameCube is like the best console to buy common, boring bullshit games on.
Yeah, but it's still going to be expensive. Even the common, boring stuff is still going to set you back. It's not like going on the PS3 or PS4 right now and getting all the best common nonsense.
Yeah,
but still, I mean, for the $700 you're gonna, or to $1,000 you can spend on Mickey Sports Basketball, there's a lot of good games you could go pick up.
Yeah, I mean, I can't hate on it too much. A lot of consoles just have like random, stupid, rare bullshit at the top end of their library, and a lot of that stuff costs hundreds of dollars. GameCube just feels especially expensive for some reason. Like, I don't think there's there $1,000 PS2 game, let alone multiple $1,000 PS2 games.
I mean, there's Kuon and
Kuon's $1,000.
Close. I mean, I think it's close if it's not exactly $1,000.
All right,
but that may have dipped too.
Living in the worst timeline, if that's true.
I mean, Kuon was getting up there. It's probably like $700,
$900 ish. All right.
Oh. Anyways, and I would expect that to retract a little bit.
But wait, no. I mean, Kuon, yes, it is random rare bullshit, but like it's kind of cool because it's a horror game. Like all that top end PS2 stuff is kind of cool. Disney Sports Basketball is not cool, Johnny. It's weird.
So I would put Cubivore and like Go-Go Hypergrind as like interesting titles, and even Gotcha Force for the exclusivity factor. Like, oh, those are kind of neat. You got a Zelda and Metroid combo thing that's like kind of interesting, and 2 Pokemon items on top. I'm not saying it's worth it, but it's got a kind of interesting top end.
You got me coming around. You're right. You're right that there are interesting games and exclusives in this list. And yes, Pokemon Box I think is kind of cool. One, because it's Pokemon, and it's like one of the rarest Pokemon things, and just because it has genuine, like, real rarity because it's so hard to even get it.
Yeah. So, I still don't feel like it's worth it, but it more worth it than the DS top end.
I'm really skewed by the Disney Sports Basketball, because Disney Sports Basketball being so expensive now makes me feel like all this is bullshit, when it's like, all right, it's a video game console with some weird games at top.
I mean, yeah, it's exclusive too. What do you want? Except for that GBA copy. Anyways.
Oh my God, it is exclusive. Oh my God. These are all exclusive.
Yep.
All right.
It's like not the worst. I mean, there's nothing that like really sends my heart, but it's kind of interesting. Anyways.
No, Johnny, I'm bringing up one more game in the rare section because I don't want this to get lost in this ridiculous amount of variants we're about to talk about. The Pokemon Coliseum with bonus disc included variant. Oh my God, where did this come from? I just realized I'm about to talk about something and I don't know what it is.
I don't know where it came from. I didn't know it existed, and you're like, no, there's a what? So you might be thinking that there's a Pokemon Coliseum and then there's like the bonus disc, which there is in like a separate package that you got. But there is actually a Pokemon Coliseum, which includes that bonus disc with Jirachi in it as one package, and it has a special sticker on it that lets you know. And it comes in a 2-disc case rather than, 2 individual cases. So this is that version.
Yes. So Jirachi's a Pokemon that you would transfer to the GBA Pokemon games with your cool link cable. I think that's probably the main thing on the bonus disc that you actually care about. So the crazy thing is, so you got this bonus disc by pre-ordering Pokemon Coliseum. That pre-order disc is not that rare. This is one of those things, like, it's on eBay all the time. Many copies.
Every day, all day.
Sells for like $150 to $200 for a pre-order disc. Maybe it has something to do with like people like the idea of like getting a legit Jirachi from like where you're supposed to get it. But I doubt it. I think it's just like uncommonish Pokemon stuff. But then the version of Pokemon Coliseum that includes both discs in the same case, I don't know where it came from. It's like $500. Is it like Pokemon people buying this? Is this even like GameCube collectors buying this stuff anymore? That is so much money for a variant.
Show me the $500 one.
I put $500 question mark. There's like a...
No, because remember we found the $90,000 one that was sealed, and then like a $50,000 one that was opened.
No, there was. They're on eBay, Johnny. I don't know if there was one in Solds, but I think one was in Solds like without a manual. I guessed it. My prices are conservative and correct, Johnny. Maybe not.
Okay.
There's one cheaper on eBay, but I looked at it and it was like kind of fucked up, I think. Anyway, yes, that Pokemon Coliseum with the bonuses included in the same thing is very expensive.
It sure is. Frighteningly so. For what it is. Anyways, let's talk about the uncommon stuff. So these are games that maybe haven't been completely sussed out, aren't like over $100 yet. Look, because pricing is going to be relative. We're saying uncommon games that aren't quite expensive yet. This is the thing that Tyler and I used to do, and I think many others. We'd go on DigiPress, we'd find what were the 8s and that weren't like fully expensive that everyone was talking about. We would go look for those games, that middle that wasn't fully established and could be at any point flip into a $100 game. These are those. And we have a list. Tyler made a pretty good list here of some that he thought were interesting.
Johnny, I thought there would be 0 because like
I did too. That was our first impulse when we were talking.
If Disney Sports Basketball is $1,000 and that was a game that was like not super on the radar like 5 years ago, like a little bit, but like obviously not to this extent. Like you would just think like everything remotely uncommon is $100 now. But I mean, it's not. We've actually found some, and I'm excited that we have some good things here.
I was surprised that you brought any, and then you brought me around. So tell me about them.
I mean, if you want to get rare games at a discount on like especially modern consoles, just look for like the racing games that no one bought because it's always the racing games. First one on the list is expensive now, but Rally Championship, that one has risen in price recently, like a lot. But I still think for how many copies are available compared to the stuff out there like NCAA 2K3 and even like Gotcha Force, like I think like it's probably a good buy relative to the rest of the GameCube set. They're better buys on our list. Groove Rider Slot Car Thunder. I think that was the last game Stefan picked up. That's pretty uncommon on Xbox as well. It's like one of those games that's all over the place because there's not really a good established price for it, and there aren't enough copies for sale all the time. What is it, like $50, you think? 65? All right.
65.
City Racer, there are copies of this for sale. There aren't a ton of copies of it for sale. I think that's like a $50 game.
$50, you got
buy it. Virtua Striker 2002, this definitely seemed like one that is like maybe as rare as like the stuff at the top end, but no one cares about Virtua Striker 2002. Rave Master, it's $50. It's uncommon. Just get it now if you're going to get it out of the way. Top Angler, a fishing game, $25 for a random rare fishing game. Not rare, maybe uncommon. Just get it now. It's $25. What are you going to do? It's GameCube. GameCube, guys, you got to get every GameCube game. Mystic Heroes, another weird uncommon game, is $30. Just get it now. Like, I don't see a universe in which a game like Mystic Heroes, a game that no one knows exists or talks about or cares about, is $30. It's not going to go down to like $15 again. I don't think. Maybe, but probably not. And then like, okay, 2 special bonus ones, Johnny. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which is
what
weird.
What if you said that
why?
I didn't bring this up?
Oh, we're not bringing up Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
No, I'm just saying I didn't bring it up. I did not put this on the list, for the record.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is weird because it was released after Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which is an absolutely bananas crazy thing to do.
Because it was in development. Like, you got to, the movies were coming out, and they had the PS1 version, the Game Boy, and the Game Boy Color, or Game Boy Color and GBA version coming out. And then they were going to modern consoles. They were getting into PS2 and GameCube. And so they had Chamber of Secrets already lined up. And then they put together pretty quick Sorcerer's Stone. So it came after. And like all these games are like different on each system. So it's weird. Harry Potter games are like a weird collection of games that are cross-platform. But this game is also kind of awesome. So like it's weirdly like a Zelda game. Excuse me. So think Ocarina of Time, kind of that way, puzzle solving, like some bosses and stuff, but it's an more interesting game than you would think for a licensed movie game. I'll say that. Chamber of Secrets, less so. The rest of the series gets worse progressively as it goes along, except for Half-Blood Prince, which has an interesting castle. But this one, pretty good game.
All right. And it's not really... it's $90, which is up even recently because... I don't know, more Harry Potter stuff's coming out. People are interested in
Hogwarts Legacy.
Sure. So, I mean, I don't think it's underpriced, but it's just an interesting, uncommon one.
And it's always been a little bit expensive on every system, and this includes all the regions it's in. This game is always, like, people think it's expensive because it was first. That's not actually the case. It's expensive because it, like, had this weird release, and there's probably less of them than the other games.
Yes, 100%.
Except on PC. On PC, it's like, whatever.
No one's buying the Harry Potter games on PC, let me tell you.
They are because it's a different game.
Oh, okay. Neat.
And they all have the same box, though, or like close to it. Actually, that game is more like the GameCube game, but it has more of the PS1 box. It's a mess. This whole area of, like, this whole thing was a mess. Anyways.
Johnny, let me tell you about the best game on their list. Because it's a game that, like...
Oh, you're going to tell me about it? That's weird.
I'm going to tell you about it because you told me about it and you 100% turned me on. You're like, and now I'm like, oh yeah, that's one of the best GameCube things. I need that right now. I normally, when I like go through and I look at these games, like, you know, like Top Angler for $25, like, yes, there's copies of Top Angler available. Is Top Angler ever going to be a $100 game? Probably not, but it's the kind of game like, it's a kind of a weird exclusive game. I kind of want that. I did not buy any of this garbage on this list, even though this is like my favorite area that we talk about. But Pac-Man versus Johnny, I absolutely went and bought that a couple weeks ago.
Did you get it in R Racing?
No.
R Racing Evolved? Oh, so you got the Player's Choice copy then.
No! Wait,
Pac-World.
There's not a Player's Choice copy, is there?
There's a Player's Choice copy of Pac-Man versus with Pac-Man World.
No, that doesn't... No multi-packs! So Pac-Man versus... It was released in these bundles with other games, including with Pac-Man World. Is that the most common way to find it?
I believe so.
Okay, but...
I think the Player's Choice is the most common way to find it.
Yes. But it also has a standalone release in a paper sleeve. And what was it? It was a pre-order bonus for something. What was it a pre-order bonus for?
I don't know. I couldn't find that info.
Are you serious?
Okay. Which is weird because I got it. I own this game and have had it since it came out. And I can't remember because it was a long time ago.
Okay. All right. I can't find it immediately right now. But the paper sleeve version is the only standalone release of Pac-Man Versus. And if you're like me, I don't want, like, if I'm making my list, like, Pac-Man Versus has to be on my list. There's a literal release that's just Pac-Man Versus. And, like, getting the bundle packs, I can't check off the box. I feel like I don't have Pac-Man Versus. I have Pac-Man World 2 and Pac-Man Versus or whatever. So it's the same thing as Virtua Fighter on the Sega Saturn. The only way to get Virtua Fighter was bundled with a Sega Saturn, right? Am I thinking of the right game?
I believe so.
I think, yeah, Virtua Fighter 1 was only bundled with a version of Sega Saturn, so it was never a retail release. It's just like this weird game that only exists under weird circumstances. And that's what Pac-Man Versus is on GameCube. And Johnny, I just bought a copy for $20. And it took me a few days of save searching, but like this game does not cost anything and just like interesting, weird circumstances for an individually released game.
I love this game, so let's talk about it a little more. First, in Japan, it was a Club Nintendo exclusive. But what's the best part about this game?
It's a fucking Shigeru Miyamoto game.
But isn't Pac-Man owned by Namco?
He's like, I like Pac-Man. I've always wanted to make a Pac-Man game. So he makes a fucking Pac-Man game. And he goes to Namco. Shigeru Miyamoto goes to Namco. He's like, I'm going to make a game in your franchise. And they're just like, okay.
He's like, I want to show off these link cables for the GBA to my GameCube system. I'm going to use Pac-Man to do it, guys. I got an idea. And they're just like, yep. And this game is fun. They made it a thing on the 3DS. They had it in the eShop. It's coming to the Switch if it's not already out. It's a fun game. It's like, it's a multiplayer game where one person is is Pac-Man, and the other people are the ghost, and Pac-Man's trying to find the ghost, and you are moving around the board trying not to get eaten by Pac-Man, or if you're Pac-Man, you're trying to eat the ghost. Like, how fun is that?
So it's very Nintendo Land before Nintendo Land was a thing. So the three ghosts play on the screen, and then Pac-Man doesn't look at the screen, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Pac-Man's playing on the GBA and has to find the ghosts, but everyone has like a real limited range of view. Or maybe it's that the ghosts can't see where Pac-Man is. I don't remember what it is, but it's a different levels of information type of game where the person on the GBA, I think, has more information than the people playing on the TV. It's really cool.
It's a fun game. Like, this is one of the games I did hook up for the link cables. Like, we did do this. We did it for Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles as well. Pac-Man was the better game.
Fun fact, it's the only game that requires you to play with the link cable.
Ooh.
For everything else, it's just an add-on.
Option, yeah.
Fun fact.
Right.
Anyway, I love this. It's such a weird, hard to, like, it like fuck up your list type release, and it's just like, I don't want to think about it. Give me it. And it's a Miyamoto game, which I didn't know, and yeah, I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm all
this
in.
Is our CQ. This is our CQ pick. It's not a spec pick, but just go get it. Just
if we had a soundboard for every time for a CQ pick, this would be it.
All right, so that was as far as recommendation of games that you should buy. That was it, and that was our one recommendation.
Sure, I mean
all
the other
stuff
recommendation
is
is all the Nintendo games. Like, we don't need to tell people to buy all the Zelda and F-Zero games, right?
Yeah, well, I meant this was like of a super cheap game. It's $20.
Definitely. It's like the cheapest one on the list too.
Yeah, it is the one.
Super good.
So, I'm gonna ask you, how hard is it to collect for, and is this system popular?
You wrote not hard if you have money, which I guess I agree with.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
Is it popular? It is like the actual world is on fire.
Yeah,
so
not hard if you got the monies. Get the monies and you can get the GameCube games.
Man, and like N64 has like cardboard boxes, and like the average person is gonna, like, most people can't afford any more like mint boxes. So you get an N64 game, it's probably gonna be like a little beat up, it's fine. You can look at Wii games. One, they have white cases. So they're already like just not as cool, and they're gonna get
also
dirtier.
The recycled cases,
and they're recycled. Like, GameCubes are sturdy, like they're black. Like, GameCube games, they look fucking awesome. So on top of all, like, it's like the perfect nostalgia time for GameCube to have its moment. Like, GameCube games just look fucking awesome. Like, the logo at the top isn't like detracting or intrusive like it is on some consoles. Like, some PS3 games, like with the old style, look like shit.
This is an episode that I wanted to put forth for After Dark, is like, which games have the most aesthetically pleasing cases or boxes?
Yeah, and I mean, like, I like Japanese GameCube boxes. I like the size a lot, but like, I think the way a GameCube game looks is just fucking cool. I think the fact that the logo is purple is fucking cool. How many purple logos do we have?
It's surprisingly nice, and like, even the only four is just like up in the corner. It's not like super intrusive. They even made it like curve away from the rest of the art. Like, they did what they could. As like, they could have made that like maybe a little like smaller, but they didn't hammer you with the logo. Like, they didn't have to do the stupid Switch thing where you got like a wall of text that's like a third of the top of the box.
So
which I hate.
Even when you just look at the spines of GameCube, so they've got the big GameCube, like, it's got like 2 inches that just says Nintendo GameCube on the bottom, and that's super consistent throughout the whole row. And then each individual game still has like its own stylized logo. Like, it's not just the stupid Switch thing where it's like plain white text, and then some are different and fuck up how your shelf looks. So even though everything is different, it's also consistent across the bottom, and it just looks so good.
And it's such a contrast to the player's choice, which looks so bad.
I mean,
they ruined it.
Put those player's choices in another room or something. I realize some of those player choices are like $3,000 bundles or whatever. Just keep them somewhere else. You don't need to keep them.
Don't mix them on your shelf.
Definitely, yeah. If you're going to get Player's Choice and Black Label, just put the Player's Choice at the end and make your shelf look nice and consistent. Always organized by color. Forget alphabetizing. We are organizing by color. We are only in this hobby for aesthetics, people. If you're playing your games, what are you doing?
Yeah. Find your games. Psh. Anyways.
Should we start the episode now with all this fucking bullshit you wrote for us?
Well, look. here, I know people are on fire for GameCube, and people always ask me about the dumb variants. And I'm going to go, I made a mega list of variants. I'm going to do it quickly. Okay. But there are a lot of variants. And I think the GameCube is unique and interesting because there are so many different variants and stuff that they were trying. They were like really trying to get people to buy games. And this was not just the GameCube. This was that era of PS2 and Xbox. And they were just like, here's a comic book in this one and a card in this one and a CD over here. And like they were doing everything they could to get people to look at their games, store exclusives, pack-ins. It was crazy. It was a crazy time. And a lot of the variant, like if you like collecting weird one-off variants, the GameCube is a super fun system to collect for. It's one of my reasons, like, hey, you should buy this. But before we get into all the variants, let's talk to you. I'm going to like throw in some collector stuff and you can throw in some of your collector stuff too. First off, I'm going to mention Animal Crossing, like we already talked about, but it has a memory card and it's got like e-reader stuff and the e-reader cards. So that is something you should know about. And we talked about Pac-Man Versus and what that is, but Tyler has a very special...
You can't just say e-reader cards. Animal Crossing does not come with e-reader cards. Animal Crossing had a whole... There was 4 different series of cards you would buy in booster packs at the store. And even when they just came out, like you could not find Animal Crossing cards for sale. Like, I think the booster packs, I think they were more expensive than normal. They might have been like $7 each rather than like the normal $4. But like the garbage cards, I remember, were like solidly $1, even for like the worst card. And then like the more expensive cards got more expensive from there. Everyone wanted like KK Slider, you know.
And they're still expensive to this day. Like, it's not like people got over that. Those things are still out there, just being expensive.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely got nostalgia for my Animal Crossing e-reader cards, but I was actually scanning them into my stupid game with the e-reader, which I don't think, maybe wasn't super popular.
I don't know.
Did people use the e-reader? I thought the e-reader was the coolest.
I thought the e-reader was really cool, but people are like, oh, you got to talk about e-reader because GameCube, and I consider the e-reader a GBA peripheral.
Yep. I definitely put it more into GBA. I'd say most of the time I used it was like scanning in like an NES game and just playing on my GBA.
Ooh, e-reader news that if you saw, they are putting the GBA onto the Switch now, if you've got like the higher tier, but they're putting in all the Mario 3 levels that were e-reader exclusives.
I like that.
Me too. So I know that had been done before and we got that wrong, but I'm still excited to go play that. Like that, how fun is that? Just go revisit that? Cool. Anyways, here's some more collectory stuff. Tyler, tell me about Animal Crossing Pioneer Edition. What the hell is this?
Oh, fuck yeah. All right, we're getting into the good stuff. Animal Crossing Pioneer Edition. What was the exact story? I don't think they were looking for reviewers, but like they sent out, it was like a contest. You like wrote in to like be like, are you the biggest Nintendo fan? Whoever writes an essay about how much they want to play Animal Crossing, we're going to send 250 copies of Animal Crossing out. So this is an exclusive Animal Crossing disc. It's just a copy of the game, but there's a little block on the disc that says like not for resale, Pioneer Edition. And then it came with a calendar and a letter when you got it in the mail. It's a fucking Animal Crossing game, a series that people are absolutely like over the moon for, and it's limited to 250 copies. And it comes with extras, and obviously it's super rare. The last one on eBay, I think there was one on eBay last year, and it did not sell. It was just the disc, but like the case was just the normal Animal Crossing case, so the disc is like the main thing you want. And I think it was up for like $1,250, and no one bought it. Like, I was cool, thinking about, like, that's a lot of money for a game, but I really love Animal Crossing. I want one of these, but knowing that it like very specifically came with also a calendar and a letter, it's like, God, I want the calendar and the letter. Only 250 ever existed. How many still exist in the world? What are the chances I'm going to find this with the calendar, with the letter, and then for a reasonable-ish price? Like, it's not
fighting the heat of the GameCube at the same time and all the GameCube collectors.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, I'm surprised no one bought it for $1,250. If Disney Sports Basketball is worth $1,000, like Animal Crossing Pioneer Edition would be worth $1,250.
If a Super Monkey Ball combo pack is going for $6,000 and $5,000,
The
Come
only
on,
explanation is that
gonna go
people
for?
don't know it exists, maybe. So, hey,
Yeah,
I'm telling you about it now. If you want to get it for me for Christmas, I would love one of these.
So here's some other weird stuff. This is our collectory section. Then I'm going to get into the big spew of variants. Resident Evil. Hey, Resident Evil 4 had a steelbook from GameStop. Hey, like a special edition. Yeah, that's like could be listed in variants, but like that's pretty cool. But also it partners with a Resident Evil chainsaw controller with like blood splatter. Yes, there's a PlayStation 2 version as well, but like this is pretty cool. They are different colors. One is yellow, one is red, and the blood spattering is different on most of them. So like what a weird thing to exist. A chainsaw controller on the GameCube. And Resident Evil 4 being like starting out as a GameCube exclusive, that's wild, right? Like, because when I think of PlayStation, I think Resident Evil. How did Nintendo steal Resident Evil 4 for a short window?
What is the story behind that? Did they just pay Capcom a bunch of money? Because one, Resident Evil 4 is the best Resident Evil game. And I'm sorry for everyone who's going to say Resident Evil 2 or whatever, but Resident Evil 4 fucking rules. It's like a pretty landmark third-person shooter in general. And yeah, it doesn't make sense that it's a Nintendo exclusive. But they also had all the other Resident Evil games come out, so there must have been some huge deal.
So, like, also in our franchises to go by, we missed to saying Resident fucking Evil, because you can get all of them. The Resident Evil 1 remake is pretty good, right? Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 0, like, a lot of people say, like, the Resident Evil GameCube is one of the best ports, at least of that time. Now we've got and ports everywhere because this is a franchise into perpetuity. So that's probably old bad info, but at a time it was super interesting. And there's a chainsaw controller. I just want to tell you there's a chainsaw controller, which is awesome.
People love the chainsaw controller. What does the GameCube chainsaw go for?
I want to say about 150.
Oh yeah, 150. Yeah, I think your prices are a little bit out of date there.
Are they?
Try like 300.
Oh, what about man?
Well, I mean, they're all over the place. Like, there's loose ones. So it comes in like this little like window box packaging. It looks like it's out of a Saw movie. And there's one that didn't have that, so it's sold for 200.
It looks like a curio case, like, and there's a chainsaw in it.
Yeah. Bananas. Yeah,
chainsaws are cool. Steelbooks are fine. That GameCube steelbook for Resident Evil 4 is kind of garbagey. Don't like it. But chainsaw is great. And you're right. I was totally wrong on those prices. Like, way the heck off. I'm living in 2012, apparently.
You're living in probably like 2021, but we're in 2023 now, Gianni. Everything, just tack another $100 onto GameCube stuff.
True. So there's some like weird promotional items. There's lots. If you haven't seen it, one of the ones that floats around is a Star Fox Adventure Kit. Comes with like a Jones soda and some toilet paper. It's in like this rectangular box that's about maybe 18 inches tall, 4 inches wide. You know, like 4 inches deep and like maybe 5 inches wide. It's neat. It's, you know, this is like one of your plus items on like, hey, I've finished my GameCube set. Let's put something cool on top of it. That's like, this is one I don't see talked about very often. I don't think it's that uncommon, but there for Mario Strikers, there's a little soccer ball. Have you seen this, Tyler? It's a little beanbag soccer ball.
If I have, I don't remember it, but I do remember the Star Fox toilet paper because I do think that comes up as like a funny stupid thing to have in your collection.
It is. I have it. It's stupid. I enjoy it. But anyways, yeah, there's this little beanbag soccer ball that says Mario Strikers. That's cool. The real collectory thing that people go for, as I was saying, is big boxes. I don't really include this in big boxes because it came in a big plastic clamshell, but it was Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles with the GBA cables. And it was one of these horrible shells that you had didn't open nicely. You had to cut it. So you usually don't find it with that. You usually just see the version of Crystal Chronicles, which has a big yellow badge on it that says GBA cables included. So if you want the coolest, completest version, look for a big, ugly plastic clamshell. But yeah, what people are really after is big boxes. But here is my note on big boxes, and you tell me if you agree. Most of the big boxes that people are really hyped for are just player's choice games. They're player's choice games in a slipcase, and that makes them trashy.
I mean, I agree. I mean, those player's choice games are very desirable by some group of people. I think like Mario Party, what is it, 5 and 6 or 6 and 7?
And 7.
Are there 4?
6 and 7. 6 and 7.
4, 5, 6, 7. There's 4 Mario Parties. I said there were only 3. Oh my god, there's so much Mario Party. Yep. Yeah, I think those are cool. But
yeah, and 6 and 7 are cool because they implement the microphone, which is nice, which is what the big box is for.
Yeah.
You have Odama, which is cool in the big box. Like, you should get Odama with the big box and the microphone. Pokemon box, we've talked about a lot. Zelda, the Four Swords Adventure, that one is, you need the big box for that. Don't neglect that. There is a Karaoke Revolution Party, again, just a microphone. Batman, Rise of Sun Tzu. This one's interesting because across other platforms, this big box, it looks the same, but there was like a little opening in the back or a window, and it came with a figure, which you're like, awesome. I get like a Batman figure, which was cool. There was like a Robin, a Batman, a Batgirl. Somehow you just got screwed on GameCube, and they're like, here's a lenticular, like here's a little slide. Cool, you like that? I put this giant box so you could have this thing you could never do anything with.
Is it a lithograph, though? I love collecting lithographs.
Yeah, sorry, lithograph, yeah. I said lenticular, but yeah, lithograph.
Oh, so it's not even lenticular, it's just a print.
Is it lenticular?
I have no idea what it is, so I don't know.
I don't remember. Okay. Anyways, who cares? I can't believe they took you know how much I love little toys in games. So I feel very slighted. And you know how much I love Batman, especially the animated series. I feel very slighted by this edition of Batman. It hurts my feelings. I take it as a personal affront. Anyways, the one thing I do want to talk about is the Resident Evil boxes. There's one that's just like a collection and it's player's choice, but there's also the Pure Evil boxes. Have you seen these?
Yep.
Okay, so did you know there's a variant of that? And then I'm ending on this one because we'll get to variants, but yeah, there's a variant of the Pure Evil box.
Explain what the Pure Evil box is.
So Pure Evil is Resident Evil and Resident Evil 0 comes in a box. Cool, just like a box set. One of them just has like, it's just brown and it's got like a little cutout and it says like Resident Evil 4 and it's got some promo info on it. Resident Evil coming July 11th, free demo disc with this purchase, which if you've seen the demo disc floating around, that's where that comes from. It's this. Again, it's just a 2-pack. So what's weird about this, it is player's choice games inside, but the side of the box isn't yellow. They didn't yellow the side, which is rare because normally they do that.
So wait, though, So the games themselves have yellow spines, but the outer slipcover that contains both games looks like a Black Label game, which I think is classy, except, like, why did they put player's choice on the inside then?
I don't, they didn't have to. Like, just, you like, at least if you own it, you don't have to see the yellow.
Yeah.
That's, at least it's behind a box. And then there's I'm not sure which is worse. Both of these boxes are competing for bad with me, because they both do things I don't like. Like, the one has the cutout for a demo disc, which I don't like. I don't like a big promotional tear. It's too much on the box like this. Hey, get a demo disc. I don't want to see that. But the other one, for some reason, they put 2 of the characters like cut out from the game, just like on the side of the box. I don't know why there's even a variant of this. And yeah, it's real ugly. The fact that there's a variant of this box set is weird and like a very noticeable variant, but these are kind of expensive. So like, if you want to spend like $300 on these boxes, you can go do that. But remember, you could spend between $190 and $300, $400, depending on like if you're getting them sealed and how nice they are, because these things do get beat up. Remember, it's just player's choice games inside. It's not like required for the set. It doesn't do anything interesting. It's just big boxes, and people love big boxes. The one I will tell you, like, if you're going to get it, get the Mario Party 6 and 7, make sure they have their big outer boxes, and that Zelda 4 Swords. Like, you want the big box for that one, because that's how it comes. There's no other variant of that one.
I'm pretty sure I don't have the Mario Party. I think I have one, but I don't have the other. Johnny, how much are those Mario Party games going to cost me?
Ooh, let me check on how much a Mario Party with the big box is. And there is a variant on these ones. Some of them have bestseller badges on them. and some do not. We'll talk about bestseller badges later.
You know, just browsing Mario Party GameCube on eBay, I'm just like, God, I'm not going to buy that. Like maybe $200 for a nice one.
Yeah, 200. Yeah, I'm seeing 200 for part 6. And that was with the bestseller badge. Obviously, the one without usually goes for a little bit more. But yeah, I see some closed at like 150, 100. So, if you're diligent, you might be able to find it. People, like, here's the thing about Mario parties. Yes, people are collecting them, but people a lot of times are playing, like they buy their favorite version of Mario Party and they want to play it. So this is as much a player's game as a collector's game. So sometimes you can even find the box loose for someone who's just trying to buy the game and then, make a little of their money back. So something to look out for.
All right. Maybe one day. I need to focus. Just it bothers me because it's like such a major GameCube thing I don't have, as if I really need like the best version of all 4 Mario Party games, but not something I need to prioritize right now in my collecting journey, Johnny.
All right. So that was it. Big boxes have some variants. Now, are you ready for me to run through this excessive? This is going to be the most excessive variant list I'm ever going to list.
Okay. Fantastic. Let's go.
Okay. So I've already told you, GameCube is the king of the variants. This is the time that variants were being developed and people were just throwing things at the wall to see what sticks. So you have some very basic ones. Bestsellers. Bestsellers are the most aggravating of all variants because they can be, you would think you're buying a first print game, but you could get a bestseller badge on the day that the game was released. And you're asking, how could that happen? Well, there's like a whole ordering process that stores do. They know that they're going to bring in, they start looking at demand planning and they're like, okay, looks like we're going to get more. Nintendo says, all right, we're getting more. So it's already a bestseller now, stamp the badge on it. But this is all before the game is even released because this is also the beginning of pre-order times. So stores are starting to gauge via this. So you get this horrible thing that happens where you can get a bestseller badge on a game you are buying the day it's released. I hate them. It's just like the first release, except usually the barcode is different. It's usually got a 0100 instead of just zeros at the end. And it's got this ugly badge just in the middle of the art. It's just a little gold badge. It's not even the most offensive badge I've ever seen, but it's a little big for my taste. And I don't like the idea of buying a game on day one and getting a bestseller badge. What about you?
I mean, yeah, I definitely prefer it without the bestseller badge. Whether some of these came out on day one or whatever, who cares? I don't want the bestseller badge is really the thing. I agree, they're not the most offensive thing in the world. Like, if I had to, I would buy a bestseller badge if like there was an amazing deal on one. I wouldn't buy a player's choice though, because like GameCube, one of the ugliest player's choice you could get.
So bad. And that's one of our other variants is player choices. But like in this realm, or in this world we live in now of video game collecting, when people are very concerned about what print they're getting, and you're like, oh, I've been a GameCube collector since day one. I was buying it because I was a lot. And then all of a sudden you find out you don't actually have first prints, which I don't know if that makes the first prints even harder to get for GameCube. That's some speculation, something to think about when you see a bestseller badge. And this is not true for every bestseller, but it is definitely true for some, especially I even did a video one on a couple of years ago about Super Paper Mario for the GameCube, 1,000-Year Door. So 100% did that because it came out on my birthday and bought it day one, and it was a bestseller, so I had to go fix it. Anyways, other types of variants you might see: combo packs, bundles, big boxes, store variants like Target, GameStop, Kmart, Toys R Us. If Kmart's a funny one, like, because Kmart's like a store that pretty much is gone from existence now, but they got a lot. Like, I don't know what Nintendo's relationship with Kmart was, but like out of the blue, GameCube just got a lot of like variants, and they like were bundled with Wavebirds and like strategy guides and all different manner of things. Kmart was really trying to sell Nintendo stuff, but Animal Crossing, Mario Party 4, Metroid, Star Fox Adventure, Wario World, Super Mario Sunshine, and Wind Waker can all be found with the Kmart badge. A lot of these also got Target badges. You go look, they're all over. This is not a comprehensive list. This is a quick one. There's some Canadian exclusives like Eternal Darkness. It will have that leaf on it, like we talked about. There is one Blockbuster exclusive that I think I only know this one for sure, and it's Freestyle Street Soccer. And there's also a non-Blockbuster cover, but yeah, it says Blockbuster exclusive right out under it, and you would think that would be enough, but there's a cover without it.
Yeah, now hold on. Like, there's a cover without it. Does that mean it was no longer Blockbuster exclusive after that point?
I guess so, or maybe that was from Canada. I don't know what the story is.
All right.
Because it's Street Soccer, and I was like, I don't care about that. So I didn't look too hard. Sorry. So there is also Time Splitters 2. This is a unique one. So there's a light cover and there's a dark cover. And they just like, if you look at them, if you have them right next to each other, you can totally tell the difference. It's basically the same cover. It's just like the design that's happening on the background behind the character. One is either light or it's like a dark looking portal. So I don't know the story behind that, but there are two different ones. There is a game that's kind of expensive. This is a weird one. I believe it's a Latin America cover variant, and it's for FIFA 07. And suddenly the cover just switches. They show different players on it. And if you look, it's got like what you'll see in most of the PAL territories in South America. And people are asking a lot of money for a game that no one cared about like 7 years ago, for sure. No one cared about this variant. Now I see people asking between like $300 and $800 for it, which is crazy to me.
I don't even know what this variant is, but apparently, is this like, does this have an ESRB logo on it?
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's all that matters at the end of the day. But yeah, wow.
Yes, it does.
That's crazy.
Yep. So Nintendo also, this was like a branding thing they were doing, bonus disc. So like you see Metroid with the bonus disc, you see Mario Kart Double Dash with the bonus disc, Mario Tennis, Pokemon Coliseum, Wind Waker, and this isn't really listed as a bonus disc, but kind of is, Rogue Squadron 3 Rebel Strike, where you got, we've talked about like that cool, you can go get the Star Wars arcade games on this, if you pre-ordered it, you got this bonus disc. So it doesn't say bonus disc, but that's pretty much just what it is.
Yep, and then what's Metroid is, it's just like a Metroid Prime 2 demo, right?
Yep.
What's on the Double Dash bonus disc? I don't know what's on most of these bonus discs. The Wind Waker bonus disc is Ocarina of Time Master Quest. That's a pretty cool bundle.
And oh man, what
I have no idea what's on the Double Dash bonus disc.
You know what? I was looking at it today, literally.
I'm gonna say it's stupid trailers and stuff that doesn't matter.
Includes bonus disc with playable demos. It's a demo disc.
Playable demos! Wow.
Oh, very exciting.
Of Mario Party 5 F-Zero GX compatible 480p, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Rogue Squadron 3 compatible 480p, and Sonic Heroes. And then it has more trailers.
Yep. Woo. Very exciting. What a worthless bonus disc. And again, not a comprehensive list. I'm just giving you the highlights. Okay, movie ticket variants. Sorry. I'm keeping this list short. There are a lot for the GameCube. It's one of my favorite types of variants. You guys have heard me go on about this. But here's a couple, just to like give you an idea. Finding Nemo, Curious George, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Kids movies, if it has a game, it probably has a movie ticket version. But also you get games like Batman, and like some of the movie ticket versions are very hard to find. Usually the movie ticket version is the first print. There are a lot of them though. There are a lot, and usually they're all cross-platform titles. So go out and look for movie ticket versions, but sometimes a movie ticket will be exclusive to a system. So sometimes cross-platform isn't the only key there. That's just something for you to look at. DVD variants. Hey, did you know that GameCube doesn't really play DVDs, but they started slapping DVDs in some games because that's useful?
Wait,
do you like that,
double
Tyler?
disc case with a full-size DVD?
No, worse, a paper sleeve that went on the side with the instructions. Yeah, so those discs are always missing, so they become pretty hard to find. And basically what was happening, and there's usually cross-platform games that were like Sonic Riders, right, which was on the Xbox and PS2, and also on GameCube. So they were just doing it for those systems anyways, but those ones have DVD cases, so you can put them in very easily. GameCube, they had to make this ridiculous exception and then toss it in there in this paper sleeve. And yeah, or sometimes what they would do is make the DVD GameCube disc sized, which is like weird, but that also happened. So, going to give you a few of them. There are probably more than this, but there's a few standouts. So, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, which I believe was a Walmart exclusive. It's got a really tiny little like pumpkin in like a witch hat up in the like upper left corner. It's weird, but it's like a very small emblem that kind of blends in. It's a really easy variant to miss. Sonic Riders, you can miss this one too because it already has like Sonic 15, like a big splash on it already icon. But then over on the opposite side, there's also one that says DVDs. That one is pretty hard to find, and people usually ask a premium for that. So like when you're getting deep into the variant collecting, this is like one of the good ones to have. Mega Man Transmission Network. This one, I believe the DVD was just listed as a sticker. A lot of times it won't even mention them on the box. Robotech Battle Cry has a CD variant or has a DVD variant. And that's cool because you know what Robotech Battle Cry needed was 3 variants. You've got a regular or 2 variants. The regular edition, this variant with a DVD included, and then the collector's edition. Great.
I mean, everyone's always talking about Robotech Battle Cry, so.
Yeah, so much. Also a cross-platform game, just gross. 1080 Avalanche is one of the ones where they did the little DVD disc in there, and that's a 2-disc case, so you can find that. You can also find that game without it, but it also has like a red banner across it. A real easy variant to find. That one sticks out. Hey, Tyler, is that enough variants? No, it's not. I'm going to answer your question for you. There's so many more. Hey, did you know that a lot of games came with cards? And
all these are e-reader cards, right?
Nope. These are just like trading cards, except for Pokemon Channel, which did come with e-reader cards. So sometimes the card isn't even mentioned, or it's mentioned on the back of the box. So that's fun. So hard to see. Kids Next Door. You know, that one got a card because this is the land of like anything can be a TCG. So people are just tossing cards in every game. So that's what's going on and why these are variants. Naruto 2 has one. Mortal Kombat Deception has a weird just Mortal Kombat card. I don't know what's going on. The Hobbit game has one, and that's a cross-platform experience, and you can see all the different cards. There's a few different cards in there. One Piece Grand Battle. Not Grand Adventure, but Grand Battle has a Luffy's treasure piece, one of 3. So it comes in like a seal. It also comes with like a map. I've only seen one art, but it says treasure piece is 1 of 3. I don't have enough experience with this game to, like, maybe I'm missing something contextually that would tell me, but I've only seen one card. So I don't know if the treasure piece is considered another thing, but that was for a game that was going on there. Star Wars Bounty Hunter Special Edition. So there's 2 other variants of this game, a standard edition and then a variant of the standard edition. But this one has Jango Fett's helmet as the cover art. And it comes with a Jango Fett card for the Star Wars TCG. Weird, another TCG card. Did you get that one? It's a good one. People like it.
I sure didn't, but I do remember my foil Sebulba's Pod Racer from the Star Wars TCG in the first pack I ever opened. I thought it was the coolest.
Ooh,
it's going to be worth a lot of money one day.
You know, that game actually, in the COVID creep, everything gained prices, including the Star Wars TCG.
I'm sure my Sebulba Pod Racer. All right, here we go. TCG. What do we got? I don't see it. Probably because it's so rare. Or here it is. It's $239. Unsold. Buy it now. Pretty good.
Sorry, needed a drink. Mouth is drying up.
I know, because you got all these variants to go over.
I know. Zatch Bell Mamoto Battles, not to be confused with Zatch Bell Mamoto something else, also has a TCG card in it. Mega Man X Command Mission has a TCG card in it for Mega Man. Whew. Mentioned to you the Pokemon Channel, and hey, everybody knows Yu-Gi-Oh! Games come with cards. So let me tell you something interesting about Mega Man X Command. Did you know it has a strategy guide?
No.
Yeah, everything had a strategy guide at that time from Brady Games.
Oh.
They also packed one of these cards in there, and I can't see a picture. There's a regular edition, and then there's one with a card. I can find the one with the card, but I can only see the back. I don't know if it's the same card that's in Mega Man X Command Missions, or if it's a different promo. So I'm really trying to figure that out, because that would change really how you bought it if you're missing the card. Also, this game is on PS2, and that same card between the PS2 and the Gamecube if you're trying to piecemeal stuff together. Games with comics. You know, I love these comic variants. Hey, Batman Dark Tomorrow. Let me take you on a trip. I love the Batman Dark Tomorrow because they were really pushing Batman Dark Tomorrow. This comes with a comic. So you would think, okay, this is a comic specific to the story. And it was probably just a one-off, right? That's what you would assume, Tyler?
I absolutely would have assumed that.
Now, what if you saw that comic and it said number 2 on it? How would you feel?
Angry that you're giving me a number 2 comic with my game for free? That doesn't feel like a freebie. That feels like an obligation.
Yes, it does. And also, so this one's small. And then, so there's this comic out there, which is Batman Dark Tomorrow, and it's part 1. And guess what? That comic has multiple covers. It's got 3, and they're all called collector's editions or special editions, all 3 of them. So that's cool. So now you got to go to like read this comic. You got to go find another one. The GameCube cover for the your included number 2 comic is an exclusive cover. So you can't go and be like, oh, I'll just grab that Xbox one or that PS2 one, because that's a different cover. The GameCube cover has an exclusive cover. Is that exciting?
I mean, yeah. I remember looking for Batman Dark Tomorrow comics, and they were not that hard to find. So I'm not too worried about this one.
So this one, yeah, if you want this one, this is like a $40 minimum game, which you would think for like a throwaway Batman game. If you want the comic, you're spending $40 to like $60 to get this game. It's annoying. But you know what else this game has? If you're like trying to complete your full like Dark Tomorrow experience, hey, there's a promo for HeroClix that you could also buy that they gave out with a pre-order.
I forgot about HeroClix for probably the past 15 years until you just brought them up.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's cool. So you can get this HeroClix. And guess what? I love talking about strategy guides. So this one also had a strategy guide, but there's 2 different versions of the strategy guide. There's the regular one you can buy probably at GameStop or anywhere else. And then there was a Blockbuster exclusive strategy guide, which came with a comic. Now, you would think this might be a Dark Tomorrow comic, maybe a cool cover, yeah?
Yeah.
No, it's an unrelated comic. It's Batman, the 10-Cent Adventure, which is like a murder where Bruce Wayne is being...
That comic was literally sold for 10 cents. Some
Yes!
bonus you're giving me.
Yes, and it has a different cover, a worse cover too. So anyways, now I'll go on with the rest of it. I just thought, like when I was researching that, I was just like, what the hell is going on with Batman Dark Tomorrow? I just thought it was a fun story. So let me get back to games with comics. The Incredibles, Rise of the Underminer. You think, hey, that's easy, right? No big deal. Except the comic is not mentioned anywhere, Tyler. Not even on the sealed copy. Not a sticker. There's just, like, if I've missed this, please at me. Like, inform me. Because there's just a comic inside. But if you didn't know that, you would think you would have a complete, and you have no reference for this.
That's a nice bonus if you bought a game and it comes with a free mini comic inside.
Right. Like, The Incredibles is cool, and it's the only version of The Incredibles that has this. Yeah, I don't understand Tom and Jerry, War of the Whiskers also has one, but really that's like just the manual. So yeah, and there could be others. These are the examples I pulled because they were fun. I talked to you already about Batman Rise of the Blood Pressure for me. So just so gross. There's another weird variant. You could tell me if you're in for this. You love Bratz, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But not in a weird way.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Bratz is a line of dolls, because sometimes we don't explain things, that happens to be out for young children. Anyways, there's a variant outfit you could get. It just says outfit included, and there's a little outfit in there. And I think that's all the GameCube games. Could be wrong, could be right. The stickers could have just been removed because it is a sticker on the outside of the box. But guess what? There's variant outfits, so you gotta go find them.
This is a nightmare. There are 4 variant outfits. These are like little sets of doll clothes that come in a little plastic bag, and you have to get all 4 of them.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I have 3. I'm missing 1.
Oh my God.
Very sad about that. Yeah. Also, there's a Bratz Diamonds for the GBA. No outfits included there, in case you're curious. But it is cross-platform, and like on the PS2, it does come with outfits. So you don't necessarily, if you want a Bratz outfit, you don't have to necessarily pay the GameCube premium. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
What does a Bratz Diamonds with the outfit go for?
Oh, I don't even know, but I'm going to say at least $30, but I could be wrong. I don't know if people are looking for this.
All right. All right,
Well,
I'm
let's
not looking.
look.
Man, if you look for Bratz diamonds, there's just a lot of naked Bratz dolls on eBay, and it's kind of weird.
And also, that's diamonds with the Z. Peaceful shout out to you. I know you love that.
I mean, it was probably like 2004, so I mean, of course, people know.
Yeah. The Z was everything. So I see one for $25. Mayor, nope, doesn't have the outfit. So yeah, I think if you want one with a for sure outfit, you're gonna need to spend at least $30, and you could get spendy. People don't care about this game, so you might. Oh, I'm seeing a bunch now without the sticker. So yeah, I guess it is a true variant. Yeah, I'm gonna say that you're gonna spend at least $30, but people don't care about this, so you might find someone slipping. So the reason my hesitancy of saying like, oh, it doesn't, like, there's a bunch without the sticker on it. People case swap so often now, and this is a sticker on the outside of the case, not on the art, not on the seal. So that makes me like, I'm unsure. That's where my hesitancy comes from. Is you're like, Johnny, don't you care enough to like look? Yeah, I do, and that's what's going on. Here's one that you won't find, and usually unless it's sealed or you find as a separate piece. Batten Kaitos with the soundtrack. Did you know there was a soundtrack version available? There's already a 2-disc game, so they couldn't fit a soundtrack in there, and they put it in a cardboard sleeve that looks like a demo sleeve, and they sealed it to the back of the game.
Johnny, when I was searching for sealed GameCube games, I found this version. This version actually seemed more common sealed than a regular version, and I didn't buy it because I thought it was weirdly packaged. And now I'm sure it's worth more than a regular copy of the game.
Probably.
Oh well.
Here's another one. Here's another one with the CD. Hey, Mortal Kombat Deception with Edema. With a CD from Edema. This thing goes for like 100 to 150. I know people are going to mess up on this. It's like a very common variant to find, but finding it with the CD has been very hard.
Edema's a band, for anyone else who didn't know. I learned that today. I don't know what Edema is. Did we need an Edema CD with my Mortal Kombat Deception? I don't know. Give me a Radiohead CD or something cool.
Yeah. There's also a lot of sticker variants, and I'm not talking like there's a Metroid Prime 2 with a Napster sticker on the seal. There's like a lot of weird sticker seal variants, stickers on the seal variant, not a sticker seal. So that's like a thing to look out for with GameCube. Those can change. End of life, there became a lot of playable on the Wii stickers that were being applied to boxes that were being sold out. So that's like a weird thing you could look for as well. Here's the big daddy of them all. Hey, Shrek Extra Large with watch. So Shrek Extra Large comes with the watch for the GameCube, which on the PS2, what is it? It's Shrek Party.
I might be on PS2 as well, but yeah, on Xbox it's Shrek Super Party, and it comes with the same watch. And it is ridiculous that the Bratz Diamonds doll clothes, like you could find a copy of Bratz with this stupid doll clothes apparently for $30. I mean, if we didn't have all these interesting games to talk about, that might be like my CQ pick of the episode. I love doll clothes. It's such a stupid pack-in. It's so dumb. But you can apparently find that. This fucking Shrek watch, like, people sometimes post it on Reddit and everyone's like, oh my fucking god, it's the Shrek watch. It looks like a McDonald's Happy Meal watch. Like, literally a watch that would cost, like, 25 cents. But it's so rare.
Yeah, it is rare and it is expensive. Yeah, people have paid a lot of money for this watch. More money than they would have. Like, you could have just gone and legit bought a really, really nice watch for what people are paying for a Shrek Extra Large with watch. Like, think about I'm not talking like, oh, I got an Apple Watch Ultra or something like that. I'm talking like a nice watch.
Yeah.
Not hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars.
There's a lot of Shrek games from this era. There's a lot of Shrek games on GameCube. For all, like, the amazing Nintendo games we talked about, like, if you're a Shrek fan, GameCube is still also the console for you.
So, if you're a Shrek fan, there are a lot of weird collectible Shrek items. I don't know how this happened, but they're there. Even Shrek 2, which is, like, pretty basic, comes with one of my favorite variants. It's a Baskin-Robbins coupon, and you're like, okay, cool, whatever, just an advert. But the fact that on the back of the box, they put in there Baskin-Robbins coupon inside. Like, it's just this small little thing like that they had to like print onto the game, which I love. Not a variant, just a pack-in. So that's a fun thing. And then Tyler, this was yours for all our investor bros, and all the people who want to be informed. So tell me about this variant.
Literally. So after all this crap, I just wanted to point out that a lot of the first party stuff has first print made in Japan stuff. It was probably really big print runs. So a lot of these might have had simultaneous made in Japan, made in USA prints. Games like Metroid Prime, Animal Crossing, Super Mario Sunshine. It's probably not that bad to find this stuff complete in box. Usually for sealed, this stuff is really hard to find. I probably should have looked at the Wada Pop report for this stuff. Yeah, you can search for Made in Japan if you care. I don't think there's any difference. There's no like quality difference because we moved on to like DVD cases. So it's just the cool thing to have that is one word changed in the back of the box and only you will care about it.
That's right. The narcissism of minor differences. Get it now.
I mean, for like a game like Metroid Prime, there must be like 200 copies of Metroid Prime on eBay. So like you might as well just go find one. It's probably the same price.
Probably because people don't care yet.
Yeah.
But they will.
I doubt
they will.
For complete in box, there's probably going to be too many and too few people who care. But who
maybe
knows?
It's a weird world we live in, Tyler. Just people are spending that much money on a watch. That's a McDonald's Happy Meal watch. Nothing is off the table with me. But anyways, that's like a rundown of a lot of the variants and that you'll see. I kind of lumped them into groupings. Hope you all enjoyed that. I know a lot of you like love GameCube and always ask me, what are some of my variants? So that was like a cool big list of them. Hope you liked it. Tyler, now you can do some talking and tell me if special editions were a thing.
I guess so. What? I don't even know what some of these are. Bounty Hunters? What is that? Is that Star Wars Bounty Hunter?
Yeah.
What was the special edition, the one with the Jango Fett card that we already talked about?
Yep.
Great. All right. Resident Evil 4 had the GameStop one that comes in the tin case. Fun fact, if you just want a sealed copy of Resident Evil 4, you buy the one with the red case. It's just a regular retail copy of the game in there. No one's going to use that fact because people probably just grade the outer one. Robotech Battle Cry. This is the big silver box that comes with a t-shirt, right?
Yep.
I remember this used to be, people thought it was kind of cool and rare. I kind of don't think so anymore. And then Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. This just has like a slipcover thing, right?
A slipcover over a steelbook.
Yeah. All right. And
that's a cool looking steelbook, actually, like in the slipcover.
It is pretty cool. It's just like
one.
the 3 dots of Sam Fisher's night vision goggles. I like it.
Yeah, it's a good one. Like sometimes they do like too much with the steel. This one was like pretty simple. Like they did a nice job.
You know, I want to just say like Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, like probably a game I would have easily put in the most beloved games of all time shortly after it came out. And man, that's not a game people talk about anymore. But I thought like people were crazy for Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. Do you not remember this? I remember this being like such a game.
People loved it. You know why? Because they made 1 million Tom Clancy games in that very short span of time, and people were all over it. Again, in franchises, we could have listed Tom Clancy games.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
But yeah, I mean, people like the first 2 Splinter Cell games. I just felt like, people really like Splinter Cell 3. And now it's kind of gone. I mean, I don't know. Do people even think about Splinter Cell anymore? Do they still make these games? I remember, what's the last Splinter Cell game that came out?
Oh, I have no idea because I was never a Splinter Cell guy.
Oh man, Splinter Cell is so fun. Anyway,
are you looking it up?
I was looking up if they still make them. It looks like Blacklist is the last one. I never played it, so I don't know.
Now, this is a favorite section of yours, Tyler. Tell me about some of these games that live on the edge. These are like weird one-offs or like promo or like just strange stuff. Like think of a competition cart or the max cart stuff that is like, or maybe something that's like stadium events too expensive for words. Tell me about on the edge stuff. Anything for the GameCube, a pretty fleshed out system?
I don't agree with what you put here. You put the interactive demo discs. I mean, the only reason anyone would consider these on the edge is because they come in a GameCube sized case, but like who would put demo discs in the Black Label set?
I'm not doing that, but some people are like, oh yeah, you got all the interactive demos? And I'm like, no, well, who cares? I have a smattering of them. If someone wants to pay me handsomely for like my 5, then please at me. Let's make a deal.
They're more affordable than I thought, especially considering the price of high-end GameCube stuff. But like most of them sell for like $75 to $300 on like the more expensive ones. But like more were like there were like a few like for $75 to $90, which feels like kind of reasonable, right?
Yeah, I mean, but there's a lot of them too. There's over 40 of them.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot.
14 and 16 seem particularly hot. A demo disc 16 sold for like $550 on eBay. I don't know, man. Someone's tracking which of these 40 rare demo discs there are. This might be like a Sega Scream Volume 2 thing where like there's 20 people on the planet who care about this rare, weird, not for resale thing. Those might be the cool ones. I don't really know. There's also the what is it? Is it GameCube Interactive Preview Disc? Something like that? There's another demo disc for GameCube that comes in a black label case. It's very common. And it has just like a
$10.
Billy Hatcher demo on it and some other games. Like, I wouldn't put that in the set list, but I could see someone who does put that in their set list.
There's also one that comes in the cardboard sleeve, and it's got Samus in full suit, and it like folds open, and there's a demo disc in there.
Okay, I'm sure there's more demo discs that we're forgetting about.
For sure.
Don't put demo discs on your list. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, we don't endorse this or like this. This was not representative of what CQ wants on your list.
And then obviously all the double packs we were talking about. Pure Evil. There's the Platinum Hits Sonic game double pack, which can sometimes go for crazy money. And then the Super Monkey Ball double pack, which we saw go for like $3,000 like a year or two ago, which was
like
just one of the most mind-blowing
ago.
things. That was like, talk about GameCube's moment, was the Super Monkey Ball double pack going for like $3,000.
No, what's crazy is that went for like $5,000 later.
Ridiculous. There were like two that sold in a relatively short period of time. And it's just the cardboard sleeve. It's just got two player's choice copies of the game inside of it.
Yep. And I want to say these were all GameStop exclusives, but I'm not sure on that.
Oh my goodness. And then I think we talked about it, but Pac-Man Versus is probably on the edge just because it's such a weird game to place in the set. But yeah, put Pac-Man Versus on your list. It's our CQ pick of the episode.
Yep. I would probably like print out a cover and like put the whole cardboard sleeve in a GameCube case just so.
No.
I mean, I did that for like the Zelda shooting game.
It's just because it bothers you that much.
Yeah, well, because it's all on a shelf, and I don't want to like if you just like slide it on top. I have my one sealed, and it gets slid around a lot, and I don't like that.
All
so
right.
I'm thinking about fixing it.
Well,
I'm in no way endorsing taking the game out of the cardboard. Keep the cardboard. Like you don't hear me saying throw away the cardboard.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Any more stuff to know about collecting for GameCube? Is there any big accessories or magazine or other junk that people collect when they're doing GameCube sets, Tyler?
Why are you bringing up magazines? Well, have you heard about Nintendo Power? Maybe like the art of Nintendo Power? I don't know. Do you know a guy going for the Guinness World Record of biggest Nintendo memorabilia collection?
Nintendo Power specifically.
Is it Nintendo Power? What?
It's Nintendo Power specific.
For everyone who doesn't know yet, did we already mention this in the show? Stefan is applying for a Guinness World Record for most Nintendo Power memorabilia, which is the most dictator of some random small country Guinness World Record to apply for. It's like, yeah, Stefan, we know you have the most Nintendo Power shit. You're like the Nintendo Power collector guy. And you're like, no, I need this beer book to recognize it.
I'm of two minds here, right? Because forever, like we with the game collection thing, it was like, who's got the most games? Well, it's just Last Gamer. It's just Last Gamer. And then someone came and got that record, and I'm just like, no, it's Last Gamer. I don't care what Guinness said. We all know. So now I feel like Last Gamer should have to like, before someone comes and just like takes it from you, like maybe you have to go and get it. So you're the guy and it's documented. That's the only thing for me.
I mean, Guinness is just, they don't care about records. They care about making money. They probably maybe needed to care about records back when they were actually like a bar trivia book. Now it's just like a pure vanity thing. if people actually cared about video game quantity as a record, I feel like the community would have made their own metric to measure the biggest collections. But one, quantity doesn't really matter. Like, as we could see, like, the Last Gamer's collection is not awesome because of his quantity. It's because of, like, overwhelming quantity that includes all of the quality and, like, 100 Sega arcade games. And, like, 30 TVs with consoles hooked up to play all of it. It is way more than just having, like, 30,000 games. But also, like the community doesn't care about that, and, like, quantity just doesn't matter anymore. It's too easy to get, 10,000 games. If I wanted to just, like, load up on, like, PC discs and Japanese loose Game Boy games, like, I could get 10,000 games. It would cost me some money, but it wouldn't be, like, ridiculous, and it just doesn't mean as much as it used to.
Are you trying to hurt my feelings with my 10,000 plus games?
I mean, yeah, I'm basically just trying to hurt your feelings. But what
Thanks,
if in the future, like in the world where physical games like stop existing, then all of a sudden, like, whoa, there's like a cap. Like all of a sudden, like 100,000 games is really like the reasonable cap on how many any person could get. So then all of a sudden, like, oh, maybe I should load up on that bullshit. This is not a CQ recommendation to ever load up on bullshit games, but maybe I wonder if when physical games stop, like people start getting itchy on like getting quantity because there's only so many now.
I mean, we've talked about that before, but
yeah,
who knows? I do love the idea of an end of physical games, but they'll always find some way to monetize a physical special edition something. We've talked about that too. They'll do something.
Limited run games or whatever those companies, they'll keep releasing like Sega CD games or whatever they could put out without having to actually manufacture something new. They'll just do that forever. But that's going to be a lot easier to keep on top of than like Nintendo Switch coming out with 100 games every quarter or whatever.
Yeah. All right. You know what else is in this area? Like one of the weirdly collectible GameCube things. And it's for players and also collectors, but the component cables, Tyler. Do you know how much GameCube component cables go for?
I've like $200 or $300 if they still go for that.
They do. They still do, even though there's new solutions coming out every day to give you better output on your GameCube. If you need some component cables, I know a guy though. Reach out to Peaceful on Instagram or in our Discord, and he is a source for some of these cables. So go talk to him.
This is ridiculous for a cable. Like there must be something in like the end of the cable, like a chip that does something, right? Oh, it has to be because like component is an analog output, but the whole point is you plug it into the GameCube's digital output. So there must be like a little converter there, a little digital to analog converter I don't know. I don't know how the GameCube component cables work. There must be a reason that they're like $200 though.
Because people love the GameCube and they want it to look nice when they play it.
Sure. Makes sense. But you better be playing on a CRT because if there's like almost more than NES players, because I mean, plenty of people will just play like Nintendo Switch NES or play an emulator of NES. But if you're playing Super Smash Brothers Melee, it better be on a CRT.
You better.
Yeah. Johnny, the SNES style Hori controller, is it called the Hori Game Boy controller?
I'm not sure.
But so Hori made it almost looks like an SNES controller. It's funny. It's got a D-pad on the left. It's shaped like an SNES controller, but then the button configuration on the right is the GameCube button configuration, right? With the big A button.
Yep, it is meant for the Game Boy player. That's what it was designed to be played with, because it does not have the camera stick.
Yeah, and
in
that
any
was just a popular controller because it's unique and comfortable. And the GameCube D-pad, it sucks. So that's a really good controller.
It's a super good controller. So there's the other Hori controllers that people like, the like kind of little smushed round ones. You know what I'm talking about?
No idea what you're talking about.
Oh, you know what? No, those are N64 Hori controllers.
Yeah, people love those.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they love those things. Anyways, if you don't know about these stupid Hori controllers, they're kind of expensive for what they are. Like, are you looking to spend, I don't know, $200 on a controller? 150?
Probably shouldn't. There's probably some adapter you can get somewhere to just plug like an SNES controller or something directly into your GameCube. It's probably what you wanted.
But yeah, I had this, and my son was like reached into my controller bin and he like pulled this out and was swinging around. I was like, no, not that one, not like. You
Here,
could
have this
throw
original Sega Genesis controller instead. Smash this wherever you want.
Here's my PS5 controller. Throw it against the wall, but not that GameCube controller. That's nearly $200, which is just a funny thing to think about. Tyler, tell me about your favorite controller, though. I know we just talked about the
Johnny
Atari
the
ones.
Wavebird. How did
what is going on with Wavebirds?
Talking about stuff that used to be cool. Maybe this still is the coolest. Wavebird controllers, the wireless controller, that's heavier than a regular controller because you got the batteries in it. Plus, it removes rumble. But people love the Wavebird. Dude, I can't stand it. I don't like the form factor. It's just like a little bit chonkier than a regular controller, and I hate that it removes rumble. But people love the Wavebird.
Yeah, but because if you were crowding around trying to play Smash Brothers 4-player on that 21-inch TV, you need to spread out a little bit.
There is not a Smash player on planet Earth who plays with the Wavebird, Johnny, because I bet there's like 10 milliseconds of input lag, and you can't have that when you're playing high-level Melee. I'm not talking about high-level players. I was talking about like when you're crowding around the couch gaming. What? You think I could afford 4 Wavebirds? What would that be back then? Like $300?
No. That's not what happened. Your friends brought their Wavebirds with them.
Oh,
you never took a Wavebird to somebody's house? No, because you didn't like it. But yeah, it's like, oh, we're playing Smash. Bring your Wavebird. Okay, I'll bring my Wavebird with me. Let me put it in the car.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, you gotta like keep an eye on your your dongle. If you forget your dongle, then the Wavebird's useless.
Yep. Oh, man. If you left it at their house, too, then you're like, fuck.
This is the only major console where the wireless controllers were dongles, though, right? Because after this, they were just built in. So this was like a huge pain in the ass.
Yep. And people loved them. Like, again, we missed it in the Cool Guy episode, but this was one of the, man, you were cool if you had a Wavebird. Everybody had a Wavebird.
Oh, and they had there was a platinum Wavebird, and it was just like a shitty layer of paint, so it like wears off and just becomes horrible. Ugh.
Yeah, the Wavebird was the word. Anyways, what other junky stuff do people collect for the game?
All right, junky stuff. The mini gum cases, which...
Why? What is this?
I threw these out, Johnny. You could buy these little, I don't know, they were the size of a Japanese GameCube case. So, I don't know, what is that? 3 by 5 inches, something like that. Yeah. And it came with like 3 pieces of gum, but then after you ate the gum, it was just the front of the box said like Mario Party 7 or Mario Kart Double Dash or Mario Power Tennis. Those were the 3, I think. And it was just a tiny little case for the GameCube game. There's no purpose for it. It didn't come with the game. If you already had the game, you could transfer it from the DVD size case to the tiny little mini case. It's fucking adorable.
It's kind of fun.
It's great.
I'm in.
I thought they were Nintendo World exclusives, but I saw on the internet someone remembers buying them at Dollar General. So you probably could have got them at a bunch of places. These are one of the only things in my collection that I ever like literally threw out. I looked at them. I'm like, what am I doing holding on to this? It was in my great purge of like all my food item related stuff. Like I don't want any food. I didn't like still have the gum in the case, but I'm like, what is this? It's just like a gum case. I had like some Nintendo Mint tins. Like I just don't need any of that shit. And now these are like kind of rare. And I've seen people talk about them on Instagram, and I'm kind of sad I got rid of mine. But it's a cool thing. Now you
want them back?
What?
I said, now you want them back.
I do want them back. I will never pay. I'm sure they're like $50 or more. I will never pay that for a tiny little GameCube case. Like most things on GameCube, it's just too expensive.
True. All right. Tyler, let's talk about any major hardware variants. This is like a thing we usually bring up. Was there any like big revisions? Did they do like a slim or anything? Anything I need to know about here?
Well, the earlier releases of the console have digital video output, and they removed that port on the later releases of the console. I don't know. Okay. I'm sure it sells for some premium, but there's so many GameCubes that have it. I don't know what that premium is. But really, in this section, I just put a bunch of my favorite limited edition ones, Johnny.
Okay.
Johnny, the Tales of Symphonia teal console with the matching teal Game Boy player. All right, there are a couple of these. So there's also the Spice Orange GameCube that has the matching Spice Orange Game Boy player.
So cool. So
when you
good.
have the special GameCube and the matching Game Boy player. Oh, it's just the perfect combo. It looks so good. And it shouldn't. It should be like 32X. It's just like a little blob that pops onto the bottom of the GameCube. It's no longer like a cube when it has it. I guess it's not really a cube to begin with. But like, man, something about the Game Boy player when it's got the matching color just looks so good.
Looks real good. It's one of my big regrets of the Game Boy player. It's like mine is never going to match everything. If you got a platinum GameCube, you're just like, well, that's cool. Game Boy player is always going to stick out a little.
Yep. That Tales of Symphonia thing was only released in Japan and France, and I didn't get prices on it. Sorry. It's probably some hundreds of dollars. This is one I always saw, the Hanshin Tigers GameCube. This was a commemorative GameCube made for a Japanese baseball team that won whatever championship in 2003. I always thought this was like some super rare hot shit because it's just something I see people talking about. So I assume like, oh, this must be like the rarest GameCube. There's like a dozen of them on eBay and they're not even that expensive. Like, they're expensive-ish, like complete in box, like $300 to $400. But I thought this was like real hot shit. And apparently it's just like a cool GameCube. If you want an ugly GameCube that looks like a baseball jersey with like pinstripes. Or maybe you're a Hanshin Tigers fan. I'm not.
I think that there's like stuff that there was like little extras that you could get to like around it. I think this was like fans of that team. Like, yeah, this was like a weird.
So you could get like just the GameCube for like a couple $100, I think, but the full complete in box set came with a jersey and a shopping bag. I don't know. That's the weirdest promo ever, but
yeah,
make sure to get your Hanshin Tigers GameCube complete. And then probably the rarest GameCube, the rarest. I don't know if it's actually the rarest, but it probably is. MTV in December of, I think, 2003. They every day of December they gave away a special GameCube. So, and except for Christmas and the 31st. So they gave away 29 GameCubes and there were 5 different MTV variations. So I can't describe them all, but the most common one is like this green camouflage thing and they all say MTV on the top. And there's only 29 of them and there's 5 variants on top of that. So like this is the kind of thing where, like, if you collect hardware variants, like, what is your life? It's impossible. Like, no one has all 5 of these. And if someone does, they are the only person who has all 5 of these. So there you go. Your hardware set is incomplete because this MTV GameCube exists.
Womp womp.
Yep.
Okay. Any others?
The Panasonic Q is $1,000 and people love it. I don't get it, Johnny.
I don't understand. Hey, it plays DVDs.
Panasonic Q, it's what did it come out in Japan or did it come out in a bunch of places?
I don't know. It didn't come out in America, and that's what we know.
It is like a mirror finished GameCube that also plays DVDs, and people think it's like the coolest thing, and it's just something I don't get. But it is super expensive now, like $1,000. So go get your Panasonic Q. It is the JVC XI of the GameCube hardware lineup in terms of how strange and out of place it is.
So there's also a couple others. There's like the Char bundle, which is like a red, and it's like a mech one. That one's like $500 or something, $500 to $700. GameCube in America, though, was pretty basic. It came just in 3 colors. You had platinum, indigo, which is like the purple, and black. Not very exciting. They did do some console boxes. Some of them were the boring one where they just like slap a Zelda sticker on it or a Mario, Paper Mario sticker on it. But they did a few good ones. They did like a slip cover over them, so they didn't have to like produce a whole new box. But they did a Metroid Prime one that was lenticular. Looks awesome. If you haven't seen that, go check that one out. They did like a Smash Brothers one just to be like, hey, Smash Brothers, get that. And these lead to a lot of the not for resale variants that are out, because that's a thing you should look out for. If you are collecting and you don't want the not for resale, you want the regular one, so be careful there. There's a Mario Party 7 one, which was a little bit bigger because it had to include that. There's like a weird Radio Shack bundle that
Radio
like if
Shack.
you've never. Yeah, this is like a weird one to find, and it comes with like Midway, the Midway Classics, pack, Midway Treasures, Arcade Treasures.
Yeah,
one.
sure.
It comes with that, and I think it also came with like Metroid Prime in there, and it's in like a Radio Shack box. I think that's just like
What?
exclusive to. I don't think it's like Nintendo produced. I think Radio Shack did this, but it's like a weird box you can go find. It's like a weird corner case thing.
You talking about like these Radio Shack and Kmart bundles, it just makes it sound like Nintendo is desperate to partner with whatever retailers. Like, please sell our GameCube stuff. We need to move more GameCubes.
Yes.
They're not selling
Yes,
as well as they should be. We know this console rules.
Yeah. Japan also got like a Metal Gear. Like, can you believe they got like a Metal Gear GameCube? And it's just like a platinum one with a little like desktop. There's also the Pokemon XD one. It's like a purple box. It's got basically the GameCube cover art on it. If you're interested, and you'll find many more boxes like that. We don't need to go into the whole list, but yeah, there's a lot of variants there. Sticker, some covers, but not too much variation to the actual hardware itself. Get your Mario Sunshine sticker now, or your Pokemon XD.
GameCube console boxes are pretty small, and I like them.
They are an excellent form factor. The most expensive American one, it's like a common release, I think, is that Pokemon XD one.
Sure.
That one, and that's just a platinum one. Like the box is cool because it has unique art on it, and it comes with the game. But it's just really on the top of the disc door, little picture of the Pokemon that's on everything else. So if that's your jam, then go get it.
It sure isn't. Collecting hardware seems like it's for crazy people. After what do we just list? Like just randomly like 25 different GameCubes you could go buy. Like holy crap.
I mean, there are some people who just collect the consoles and don't collect the games. That's weird.
I mean, I don't know. In some sense, it makes them seem more sane because it feels like a much smaller and more manageable set of things to collect.
All right, Tyler, here's a section I know you can help me with. Tell me about the aftermarket and homebrew scene. What's going on there?
I have no idea, Johnny. There are plug-and-play HDMI mods that plug into that digital output port. You can go get one of those. You want to talk about aftermarket controllers? There's the Hitbox.
No,
Johnny.
We don't care about
Hitbox.
that.
There's a whole controversial form of controller that Super Smash Bros. Players use that uses buttons instead of joysticks because people who play Super Smash Bros. Melee are out of control. The joysticks are too slow for them that they use buttons for up, down, left, and right. So yeah, that's where the state of GameCube hardware is as far as I know. I don't know about aftermarket games that anyone is developing for the GameCube.
Okay. All right, not a lot to go. So let me just go. We're coming to the end. We're going to talk about things to watch out for, outlook of the system as a collectible, and then the reasons you should or shouldn't. Our takeaways at the very end. Things to watch out for, though, Tyler. Sticker variants. I talked to you about those. Those are like a thing. Bestseller badges. We went through that. But it's like my super pet peeve one. Incorrect cases. So people do a lot of case swaps. So you will get rental cases. So watch out for like Blockbuster rental cases because they have their own like GameCube case. It's gross. Or even worse, when people put GameCube games in DVD cases. It's Yuck City. It's the worst. Cannot with that. So be careful. Also some rare variants that are on the system are cross-platform. So sometimes people will pick and they'll cobble together the rare version. So be careful because there might be some detail or nuance missing in that if you're attempting to cobble. So people might be doing that. And sometimes like with that Batman comic, they did something exclusive for it. So just be there. And then just be aware that Canada had some variants. Latin America got a couple of variants. Canadian variants are very specific though. You will see big swaths of Canadian text, badges and stuff. So that's a whole different outlook. So keep an eye on that. And That's about all the things. There's nothing like, hey, you're gonna get like, I mean, with all DVD cases, watch out for people printing out art that isn't the legit art. You know.
Sure.
So, but that's like a standard caveat. There isn't like any big thing I think to look out for. Nothing huge you're gonna mess up. And Tyler, tell me, what's the outlook for the system? How do we play it? Like, are we modding it, or we got ROMs now, Retron? What? Like, how do we play the GameCube?
I'm hearing a lot of talk on the Collector's Quest Discord that the Wii is the way to play the GameCube. So
that's weird because you told me it wasn't.
I did. I did errata for that at some point. Some retro RGB article is like
finger up in the air. Now, hold on. I want to roast you a little bit. You tossed your finger up in the air. You pushed your glasses all the way up your nose, and you're like, well, actually, and you like made me feel like an idiot. And I was like, well, I thought I read all this. And you're like, no, you're stupid. You read wrong, dumb stuff. You're a dummy. I think you even called me that.
There is some version of the Wii that has slightly worse video output than the GameCube. But I don't know if it's like later Wiis or something. Like most Wiis have really good video output, so it doesn't matter. But you know what? Wiis are a pain in the ass, and I'm sure you can mod them and shit. I hate putting a GameCube game in the Wii and then having to pick up the Wiimote, pair it, and then click the game channel to launch my game. I just want to launch a GameCube game. I want to put it in a GameCube. That's how I'm going to play my GameCube games. Okay. Although it is a lot more convenient to have that tiny little Wii in your setup instead of a GameCube.
So, yeah. So we're just playing it like, if you want to play a GameCube, like play it on a Wii or on the GameCube because it's modern enough. We can still hook it up to TVs, right? We don't need an eShop mini ROMs. Wait, the other way to play GameCube games, wait for it to be ported to the Switch.
I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, yeah, you got to wait for it to be ported because, like, Metroid Prime Remastered, that's kind of them confirming, hey, guys, we're not going to make, like, virtual console GameCube games. We're just going to make you buy these games again.
Yep.
Yeah, also, GameCube emulation rules, but it's also kind of not necessary. Like, man, thinking about, like, more reasons the GameCube rules, like, all the best games run at 60 FPS, or, like, a lot of them do. And like Nintendo does that a lot with first party games. I'm just thinking of just like F-Zero, Metroid Prime. Does Mario Sunshine? Probably Mario Sunshine. I don't know. A lot of 60 FPS. 60 FPS real good, Johnny. A lot of consoles did not prioritize it.
They sure didn't. Looking at you, modern consoles. Anyways, should you collect this system, Tyler? Give me 3 reasons we should collect this system.
Johnny, it's the most Nintendo system. It is so good. The lineup is so good of old and new franchises. It is, I mean, I would accept an argument that it's the best Nintendo system. I don't agree, but in terms of like the variety of Nintendo franchises that appear or were created, it is definitely the best. You look at something like the Nintendo Switch, it can never be the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch is like the greatest hits album. And like GameCube is Black Sabbath Paranoid, where you've got like War Pigs, Paranoid, and Iron Man, and it's all in the same album. And it's like, how are all these amazing songs coming out of one album?
Don't forget Electric Funeral.
An Electric Funeral, of course. Johnny, Hand of Doom is on there. But because of the way video games are made now and how just like we're always going to have these sequels and remakes and HD remasters and re-releases and ports, like, I don't even know if there will ever be a console that can compete with the GameCube in terms of, like, the sheer quantity of franchises it has that aren't just ports and remakes. So, I don't know. It's pretty good. That's kind of my whole argument. I don't need 3 reasons. Like, there's one reason, and it's a really good reason.
It's one reason with, like, 3 to 5 bullet points.
Yeah, and, like, all of that shit is exclusive, except for the times it was remade and remastered and all that stuff. So, super good.
It is super good. And I'll tack on one thing. If you love variants and you love like going down collector hole, because this is a collector's show, it's got a lot of variants. It's got a lot of depth of collecting, and it's like a big enough library, but it's not overwhelming. You know, it's big. It's, 550, but it's not like 1,000. It's not 800. So
it's not cardboard boxes, so it has some amount of like, you could knock out like the bottom 100 games for real cheap, probably.
Yeah. Oh, and there was a stat I was going to put on there. Yeah, there's like over 50 GameCube games between 40 and 50 that are over $100 depending on condition. Like in this set. So that's like it's an interesting number because it's like 10% of the library.
All right.
Anyways, let's talk about 3 reasons not to collect this system.
It's really expensive right now. The problem is like it's kind of the hype of a whole generation, and when is it going to subside? It doesn't feel like soon. I feel like it will remain popular for the foreseeable future. Even though we've seen things like there's been like what was Mario Sunshine selling for like $120 at some point. Like we have seen stuff come down.
Off. Yeah.
But I don't think it will in general like be less popular in the near future. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'll throw in again variants. I love to do this. Like it's a reason to and a reason not to. Variants because sometimes it's hard to know what the best or the right version to buy is on this console because it's so packed with variants. Like I said, I don't think there's really, except for player's choice, there's no real wrong version. Just find the one you like. You know, be it the most collectible, cheapest. Like just keep it away from player choice, and I think you're all right. But it can cause confusion and like, oh, did I get the right one? Do I got to go upgrade this? It just causes those kind of moments, which is frustrating as a collector. And I've kind of backed off on this one. I think you did too. Like we said, the most expensive stuff isn't that interesting, but it's not like the worst. I like maybe because the system is too modern would be like my last argument. But it's also Nintendo's first disc system, which makes it interesting. I don't know. I don't have a lot of good reason not to.
I think Disney Sports Basketball really biased my perception of the entire top end. Like, I realize, like, they are mostly actually kind of interesting exclusives. I think it's both Disney Sports Basketball really biasing it and just me seeing, $700 GameCube games and thinking that is just subjectively too much for a GameCube game right now. But, I'm not the market. The people in the market are the market, Johnny.
Reason number 3. Man, it's expensive, even though that was also reason 1. We'll do that one. The reiteration. All right. And that is it. So you want to collect GameCube. I hope we gave you all the good big facts. I know there's like a basic part. We didn't go into like everything, but I feel like we
didn't
covered
go into everything. Do you see your list? You were like, go get the Canadian exclusive Eternal Darkness. It's got a maple leaf on the cover.
I want, like, normally I just want these to be a primer, but people have been asking for this one for so long. I wanted to deliver the stuff they keep asking for. So okay. I went a little extra on this. So forgive me. Good content. What do you want to fight me on it?
All right. Content. I hope I hope everybody listened and heard something they thought is interesting and are going to go buy it. And that thing is Pac-Man Versus because it's the pick of the show.
It is.
And I bought it. And that's going to be what I'm talking about next.
It's so good. You can post a picture of it on Instagram when it comes. It'll be fun. You haven't done that in a while.
I sure haven't.
All right. Do we want to forego collectors' questions and buying and playing, or do you want to get into that?
No, let's get a collector's question. This is the big episode, right? We gotta give the people...
I mean, well, I like, cause sometimes I feel like, buying like dates it but yeah, it's fine. Like, go on, whatever you want to do here.
What's the video game equivalent of getting an orange in your stocking for Christmas? Daddy Mulk asked back in November.
I love an orange in my stocking. What are you talking about?
So what's the equivalent of that?
Getting a game in your stocking. Like, I love that. Like, yeah, like put my little controller in there because it's like not too big.
So, Johnny, I am
like a portable.
I think I told you this, but like my family doesn't give me stocking stuffers anymore. I'm the only person in my family who does stocking stuffers. Besides, Ada does them too with me. But like my family would never do that once I became an adult. So I'm gonna say it's like it'll be like a nice bonus surprise. So the Incredibles GameCube coming with a comic book because it never advertised as such is the equivalent of getting an orange in my stocking for Christmas.
Yeah, like I know Daddy Mulk wanted us to like poo on oranges, but man, I love an orange in my stocking. It feels weird when I don't get one. It's like a thing I've been like subtly like trying to tell my wife because she doesn't always put like an orange in my stocking, and I'm always like, man, there wasn't an orange in there, which is stupid, but I miss it.
All right, Chalker asks, do you think at some point, quote-unquote retro game, collecting as a definition will give way to something more like second-generation collector, first-generation collector, etc., and do you think it will be good or bad for value and interest? For example, something like first-gen, pre-NES, second-gen ends with PS2, third-gen ends with Xbox One. So basically, are we going to enter this age of Bronze Age, Silver Age, Gold Age, like with comics?
We had a really good conversation with Excitebike Games about this, like episodes and episodes and episodes ago. And I like the idea of it because I think making our language more precise is good, because then, people will have greater context when they hear things rather than just retro and being like, what does that mean? And everything just suddenly becoming retro. Like, is the Wii retro now? Like, what is happening? So I think, yes, we will get there as collecting evolves, because as I think you were alluding to, people are definitely going to want to hint at, this is the good stuff down here, and this is the stuff you can ignore, at least for now. I think people definitely want to do that.
Yep. Let me just read a little bit more here. He says, I think conceptually, if you redefine if you redefined as generation collecting, no, you didn't cut me off. You might be able to save or somewhat circumvent the decline by making it a collectible time period versus just being lost in the quote-unquote retro gaming genre. When it isn't really retro for a 30-year-old, i.e. Atari, it's more like collecting a Model T.
I think we agree with that, right?
Yeah, so... Yeah, I've always been of this opinion ever since people started saying like Xbox 360 is 2 generations old, so Xbox 360 is retro now. I'm just like, fuck off. We are never lumping the Xbox 360 in with ColecoVision. Those do not belong in the same category. It does not matter what that category is. If the category is video games, fine, but that is it. Lumping them together as both retro games makes absolutely no sense.
Agree. Hard agree.
Yeah.
Also, you hate the word retro. Do people know this about you, that you hate this word?
Yeah, I used to be worse about it. Now I'm just like, you know, whatever. I'm much better about being like, language is how people use it. So shut up, Tyler, and just use the same language everyone else does so people know what you're talking about.
Oh man, I feel like I affected you a little bit there.
You probably did. Johnny, come on. We've been friends for how long?
A long time now. But it just sounds like an argument I would make. It's so eloquent. I loved it.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't think people are going to number generations like that, like saying first generation is pre-NES. Maybe one day we get into a Gold Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age thing. What we're going to really need is a major catalyst for people to define what those eras are. And I don't know what did that for comics. Like, maybe it was price guides that split things up like that. Maybe that happened before price guides. I'm not really sure. But like, we would need the Johnny Iucci collecting catalog of, here's 75,000 games to collect, and I've divided them up by era helpfully for you. And then maybe people would say, like, maybe something like that would be a catalyst that would have.
I hope grading companies do it and start doing like, hey, it's a premium to grade at this era. Like, by just putting a price structure of games from certain age ranges, you would do that. Like, a price. Grading companies could do it right now. And I know everyone's like, oh, grading company is evil, but I just hope they do, because I really dislike the imprecise language we have going on right now.
Yep. Ultimately, I kind of don't see it happening, because we do have this split already based on the numbered generations that are kind of commonly accepted, basically the Wikipedia generations, which would be like third generation is the NES and Sega Master System and SG-1000, whatever else was there at the same time. Which is,
I hate that convention, by the way.
It's too specific, I think.
Yep. It's too specific. It like doesn't properly encapsulate where portables belong, which I think is always a problem in this classification.
Absolutely. And then you have consoles like the Switch, which are like weirdly going across 2 different generations for the other consoles.
Yeah. Also, I don't need 15. I like, oh, that's generation 1. Like, it's just, what an ugly way to, like, I don't want to talk about it like that. I really just, when people are like, oh yeah, what do you think about Gen 6 stuff? I'm like, what the fuck are you even talking? What is Gen 6? Please explain it. Like, oh, well, I'm like, I don't care what Wikipedia says about this. I'm never buying in this convention.
Oh my God. I don't know. Maybe we'll just do decades at one point. It's a problem. I hate it, but I don't know how to fix it. I made a YouTube video on it after we did that episode, but I probably disagree with half the stuff I said there because it's just like a frustrating problem. You should
very much, if you have not checked out that episode, it's a really good episode Tyler did, expanding on the talk that we had on the episode. And Tyler did some really good summation of the topic, and it was a very thought-provoking episode. And I listen to you talk all the time, and I still very much enjoyed it and actually watched it twice to think about it some more. So,
you know what? I bet that's an episode where I brought up Oblivion as being one of the big game-changing things in video games. I'm telling you guys, Oblivion, both DLC and the junk food quest. It's revolutionary. All right, that's it for this.
Questions. Do you want to do a segment about like all the stuff we got wrong last episode? Did anyone want to fight us after last week's episode?
No. What? Oh no, I didn't. Let me check. I have 1,600 Instagram messages. Maybe people want to fight me. No, I don't think I got Oh wait. Oh wait.
Okay.
Oh no. Twisted World said he was upset that we cut a section on Antonio Bandonio.
Is that
that might not be his real name?
It's the guy from Texas who has the Wikipedia or has the Guinness record, right?
Yeah, we didn't cut anything regarding that. Johnny just stops himself before he goes off about that. Johnny would go off about that. I'm not about to attack any individuals on my game collecting podcast, let alone people who are literally in the same hobby as me and just doing it same.
I just don't like the presentation. I just don't like. Yes, he's got like one. I don't agree. He's the record holder. Like, and then he feels like maybe a little smug about it, which it's like just feels disingenuous. Like prime intellectual dishonesty. Like, yeah, he's got a good collection, but also like it's all stacked. And I understand that that's the house and the space he has, and like I got shit in boxes, so I get it. But it just felt like a little thumbing of the nose, and like, yeah, it was a little too smug for me, and I don't like it. I'm sure he's a nice guy. He's got an excellent collections of games. I'm sure. Presentation, he gets a 0 from me.
Oh man.
It's nothing about the quality of his collection, just the presentation. Gets a 0 from me, dog.
All right, let's just go through my Instagram messages. JTF was the person who was talking to me about Gotcha Force, which now that I've said like maybe like the GameCube top end isn't that crazy because it is mostly weird exclusive kind of quirky stuff. Maybe he's happy I softened my stance a little on Gotcha Force. Also, someone sent Bonnie to me. So Bonnie is a Famicom collector, and she's decided to move on to other hobbies, and she's got like All Night Nippon, Super Mario Brothers, and Archimedes Gradius, which is like a ramen themed Gradius that was themed to.
That's so cool.
That was limited to like 3,000.
That is so cool.
And she has these games, and she's like, someone told me you might want these, and I'm just like, I'm not in the position to buy like random super crazy high end Famicom stuff, but it is really cool. Whoever sent her to me, thank you.
That's excellent.
The thing is, I wanted to have the conversation I want to have with her is like, hey, keep this shit. This shit is so cool. Don't sell this. What are you doing? You're gonna regret this. This is the coolest stuff.
Reach out to her, Tyler. Convince her. What is she looking for? I would, man.
I didn't even ask because I'm just.
Why?
If she's asking like $2,000 for Gradius Archimedes, I'm not gonna spend that, and I don't want to waste people's time.
Can you just like? I don't think I'm in a position, but could you tell me like what you're looking for? Because then the price is better than you think. You're like, well, then maybe
I'll send you. I'll send you her Instagram info.
Oh, so cool! I love when people have this stuff. It's so sad when people leave, but I understand. You gotta get that money.
So there's Gradius Archimedes comes with like an insert,
I love it so much.
The inside of the box is stamped with a unique serial number, and it comes with an insert that's stamped with that same unique serial number. And hers is missing the insert.
I don't want to be
picky, but it's missing the insert.
Who cares? That game is so cool.
That game is really cool. It's
so
dumb.
That's the best. Oh my god! Come on.
Anyway, now that we're going through my Instagram messages, what's the part of the show we're on? Are you buying and playing things? Is that it?
No, we're gonna do. Is this a real Switch game or not?
Okay,
just one. Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
Are you generating the fake Switch names with ChatGPT?
I am.
Johnny, I have a ChatGPT story that I've already told you, but I'm very upset by it, and I just need to rant. Somebody give me the real unlocked ChatGPT that doesn't go into, like, what is ethical or, like, I can't give you an opinion on that because I'm just a computer. Like, no, I know you could give me an opinion on that because you could just make up bullshit because you're just a thing that relates words. Don't tell me what you can't do. So I had this morning, I just went to ChatGPT and I was like, make me a Python script that refreshes Amazon, Best Buy, and GameStop for the Zelda Collector's Edition, Tears of the Kingdom, and alerts me when it's in stock. And it started generating the script. It pulled the correct URLs for the Zelda Collector's Edition into the script, and then it was searching for the add to cart div. So the HTML div that had the add to cart, it was searching the correct place on the page for each of these, and it got halfway through the script and then stopped. And I'm like, overloaded or something? So I refreshed the page, and then it didn't regenerate the script. It was like, oh, it's unethical to try to use automated systems to scalp games or something, and this is against those websites' term of service, so I can't make this script for you. It was making the script for me, and then I refreshed it, and it deleted it and replaced it with this stupid message. I want the unlocked AI. Somebody give me, like, the dangerous AI that can do anything, that could, like, start a nuclear war or something. I just need access to real AI that's not going to put limits on what I can ask it to do. Anyway, that's my ChatGPT story. You can use it for something amusing, like generating a fake Switch name.
Yeah, so the question is, did I use ChatGPT to make a fake one, or do I have a real title?
Okay.
Galactic Fury, Dark Light Day Night.
That is a fake title.
It is.
Okay.
ChatGPT gave that to me. But it's not like, so here's a thing I am starting to hate a lot, and this is like really prevalent in RPGs, and I was talking to a friend about this. Name might as well be non sequitur. Like, exactly. Can we please stop this trend? Like, names are supposed to be evocative. Like, no, not supposed to be. That's not the right word. Names, I think, should be evocative. You should make me think, feel, or see something in my mind when I hear a title. It should produce some sort of, when you're like Daylight Nighter, you're just like, what does that mean? What these words don't go.
Various day life. Various day life makes me think
about
things that might be happening during the day, Johnny.
Various day life. Like bravely default. What does that mean? You're brave by default, or like what the fuck is this? Please stop it. Like, someone needs to go over to Japan and just be like, look, we're on to what you're doing. You're putting it into ChatGPT. Stop make names. All right. We're on to you. Just make a name and have it, I don't know, make it like, so it's relevant to the game that I'm playing. Please. It's like a weird JRPG thing that's happening right now. And I don't like it. Or they just make up a word like Harvestella. I'm like, what?
I'm okay with it. Japan can do no wrong in my eyes. They make some good video games.
They do. I'm not being like the quality of this game is bad. I'm like, I really like, please give me a reason to want to buy this game besides being like confused, because then when I'm like talking on a list, I'm like, what was the name of that game called? Because these words don't go together in any kind of way. Various day life? You're right. You're right. I should have cobbled those together out of nothing. Anyways, I don't like it. That's rant over. Rant over. Yeah, what are we buying? What are we playing? Tyler, I did not buy much. Did you buy anything?
I got some good stuff, Johnny.
Oh.
Johnny, I got Pac-Man Versus for the Nintendo GameCube in the paper sleeve.
Well, it hasn't come yet, so like maybe dial that back.
I know. It was sold by like a thrift store, so I think it's coming. It didn't seem like a shady seller.
Okay.
Oh wait, was it? I don't know. Maybe this was a shady seller. Johnny, I got Heroes of Might and Magic 1. I have been looking for the right copy of this because PC games of the mid-90s tend to have like a lot of little stupid advertising inserts and like tech trees and just like all this like little bullshit that you have to make sure is in the box. And then also there's at least 2 variants. The freaking copyright on the disc, it's either 1995 or 1995 to 1996. And all of the nicest copies were the 1995 to 1996 variant is the most pedantic thing, but I was waiting for just the 1995 disc. And I finally found one. Johnny, I got Link, The Faces of Evil for CDI. I got the first print variant. Johnny.
Ooh.
I believe in...
You have the slipcase?
Yes. I believe Andrew Brim told me this existed in like August, and I looked at both of my copies of Link and Zelda for CDI, and I had the 2 more common later prints. So the bottom bar of the slipcover and the jewel case, it says Philips, and then it says like CDI, or it says, what does it say? I don't know, whatever it says after Philips, there's a variant where it doesn't say that, and that's the earlier variant. And that's actually a generic CDI variant, so the earlier CDI games don't have anything on that black bar, and then the later CDI games say something. So now I own 2 copies of Link Faces of Evil, 2 copies of Wand of Gamelon, 1 copy of Zelda's Adventure. I have obviously the Dutch Zelda's Adventure, the much, much more common Zelda's Adventure, but there is a less common Zelda's Adventure variant, and I don't know if I want it because it's not like some crazy like first print thing. It's just like the rare version of Zelda's Adventure, but it would be the rare version of the rarest Zelda game, and that's cool, right? I mean, what Zelda's Adventure is like $1,200 or something. What? I'm not actually buying that, but yeah, I got my Link and Zelda. Now I own 5 Zelda CDI games.
All right. Do all of them have the, I mean, not all of them, but does your other copy have
they all have
also the slipcover? Oh, yeah. Man.
I'm not crazy.
Maybe I need to talk to you because I don't have a slipcover.
I don't have extra slipcovers.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying buy the whole thing and then I'll get rid of my junky one.
Wait, what?
I'm saying like I'll buy your extra.
I don't have an extra.
No, the whole game. The whole game.
Why are you buying?
You're keeping
I
both
have
prints?
one of the early print and one of the late print now, and I'm keeping both.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like, oh, no.
Oh, no,
okay.
this isn't an upgrade. This is just like, oh, it's Zelda. Now I have more Zelda shit.
Oh, okay. I thought you were, well, because you talked about upgrading, so I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, no.
No, okay. All right. I'm with you now.
And then, Johnny, I gotta bring it up. I bought my 4th copy of Tunnels of Doom.
What's wrong with you?
I bought so many copies of this because I keep buying them and they have Sharpie written on the side of the box. But this was both really nice, affordable. It was like $40, and it's the rare floppy disk variant that I talked about missing out on at Portland. I think this is it.
You did it.
On the 4th copy, I think I found the perfect copy of Tunnels of Doom.
I'm not
an
interested
early
in any of
computer
your other
RPG
copies.
for the TI-99, for anyone who doesn't know what it is.
Congratulations, Tyler. I'm happy for you.
If you need a fucked up copy of Tunnels of Doom, Johnny, I got one for you. That one I do have an extra of.
Okay. I'm going to think about it.
Okay.
All right. Anything else you want to tell us that you bought, or is that it?
No, that's it.
What'd you play? Anything?
Just Divinity. That's it.
Okay.
No, I got nothing interesting. Right. I'm sorry.
Sorry. That's fine. I played a little more of The Last of Us, so I'll just go right into that. That's just because
How?
I'm moving along.
Johnny, I'm up to like 350 hours in Divinity. The Last of Us is like a 20-hour game. How is there more of it?
Because I'm only playing like 30-minute chunks.
Okay, man, being a dad, something.
Well, no, because I'm moving along with the episodes, and they haven't moved incredibly far.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, yeah, I'm just like playing at the pace of that. So, hey, I got Monster Rancher 4 for the PS2. Cool, huh? No?
Okay,
right.
why?
Because, I buy all these RPGs and I'm like, oh, yeah. There's, like, I have all the other Monster Rancher games for the PS2. I was like, I'm missing Monster Rancher 4. And I had a case and a manual for it. So I was like, I just need to go find a nice disc. And I found one for $25. So I was like, all right, fine. It's like $100 game. So, like, let's just, like, finish it off. What am I doing with just a case? The coolest thing I bought is not a game. I bought Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and it's a 7th print, but it's a hardcover of the original art. So very hard to like pinpoint a value or a price on this, but like they float in like a weird space. I don't know. People are always like kind of like $300 and $500, but there's like a trade edition. There's not like I didn't find a good collectible resource to tell me about these books and which is like the desired one. But there was one that was just like it, that was listed at like $600, and this is the hardcover, like original 1981, printed in 1981, and it still has the dust jacket, and it was in nice shape. So he had at $400, and then he just sent me an offer at $225, and then I responded with a counter at $150, and he took it. So I was like, I don't know if I just overpaid, but I feel like I must have, or maybe he found it in a thrift store for $5, so he doesn't give a shit. But whatever. I was pleased to get it because I didn't have that copy. I had like a different version of the art for book 1, and now I've got the original with the dust jacket, and that's the one I was nostalgic for. So I'm feeling good now. Did it.
All right, good job.
Yeah, and I got another book. I know, super interesting, called Monster Mama, and it's a child's book, but it's signed by Stephen Gamble, who is the illustrator who does all the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. So he signed this book back in 1994, and I can't find any other books with his signature on it. So I took this one, and he put a cool inscription and says, "Save me a piece of cake." So I was like, awesome. What a good inscription to have.
That's a good inscription. All right. I like it.
Right.
Let's collect more books.
That was it. There you go. I've got some good stuff coming soon. Maybe not really. It's look, I have not been I bought Magic cards too, so it was like my money is gone for the things I can collect.
Yeah, I told you I bought a Bearscape, right?
No.
I got the Bearscape. It's with the gay art. For anyone listening, gay bears is the art. It's fantastic. It was part of some Pride.
It was a secret layer Pride bundle.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't buy all the secret lair things because I don't care, but there's just a card called Bearscape, and they redid the art with a bunch of gay bears. It's fucking fantastic that it's a real Magic card. It was only like $7. That's the only Magic card I bought in like the past 5 years. That
is funny.
All right.
People were mad that the token in there, they didn't put a bear token in there. They wanted just like a shirtless dude. Missed opportunity, I think.
Yes. But you know what? Those secret layers, you gotta pay up to get one card in a secret layer for Magic the Gathering.
Sure do.
They're not going to give you a free token.
No. Anyways, I think that's it. I think that's all we've bought and all we've played. And we gave you a bunch of info in this episode is, right along our standard of about 3 hours. So cool. We did it.
Yay.
Tyler.
Ooh. Oh, I'm Default Gen, Default GEN. You can find me on the Video Game Sage. Message me on Instagram where maybe I'll get back to you one day when I look at it on the show. And I don't know, where else am I? Discord. Come find me.
Yeah, you're on our Discord. Yeah.
I like video games.
I'm John. I'm Johnny_Iucci. I'm on Instagram there, and I'm Johnny on our Discord. And if you want to talk to us on our Discord, you can do that by signing up for our Patreon, which is as little as $2 or as much as $6, but $4 is the sweet spot. $2 gets you onto the Discord, All of the tiers get you onto the Discord. $4 gets you our bonus After Dark content. $6 is just because you like us. Anyways, we really appreciate all the support. We appreciate that you sharing your time with us. We hope we are giving you back some good content, and you found this one really informative. We enjoyed doing it. Thanks a lot. We'll catch you next time. Oh, that Patreon is patreon.com/collectorsquest. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
We got a kind of low energy bye there at the end.
Hold on. Bye.
Nope, I already stopped recording, too late.
Oh, no.
That is our show. Errata for the show. I can't believe this, but I looked it up. The Animal Crossing e-reader cards, the packs of e-reader cards were $2.99. They were regular trading card price for the mid-2000s. I'm probably remembering how much they cost on eBay, and this was maybe before a time where video game scalping culture was as crazy as it is now. Like, paying double for something, like people just put up with it now. Like, if you need the Tears of the Kingdom special edition, and that turns out to be a thing that basically Nintendo doesn't make enough of, there will be plenty of people who will pay double for that. I just remember, even like an $8 thing, I remember these packs being like, $8, $10, something like that. But the idea of paying 2 to 3 times the price for a pack of trading cards was just bananas. Anyway, thank you to ApeBit, apebit.bandcamp.com. Like the monkey, he does our intro music. And thank you to the patrons, Richard, patron number 1, Bowden, Chris, Canadian Variant Alert, Chris Glidden, Nintendo World Champion, Daniel Jacksmith, High-End Collector, Andrew Brim, Greetings, Stranger, I'm not surprised to see Andrew Shelton around here, 50 Hertz is good enough for me, Andre, Brian Gupta, and Pocky and Rocky with Becky, the Strictly Limited Super Rare Bruno, Coin-Operated Cameron Couch, Fat Cat Collector, Chris Jackson, Stop talking trash about sports games, Chris Minoche, Chris SNK, Too Many Morozek, Johnny's GBA Hookup, Coffee with Mr. Saturn, Playing with Power, Connor Strange. The last game you need for the set, Corey O'Brien, Unpunched Hang Tab, Dustin Beagle, he has returned to judge this city, Eric Addison, What Are You Buying, GBO Metric, Red Pyramid Thing, Jonathan Shados, Joseph Garris, he's just out there having a good time achieving his goals. Proud of you. The Nintendo Tape Archivist, Joseph Leo, the Variant Authority, Josh Byerly, the Pinball Guy, Joshua Gelb, Kevin, Zylog Z80 Acre, Lance Lord Hardstyle Z, Commander Mark Halstead, and this is his favorite store on the Citadel, The Degenerate, Matt Ball, posted in the Discord right now, Michael Chiaramonte, Mint Condition, Mora Bros, Mr. CIB, get your loose Genesis carts out of here, Funkoland Employee, Platform Agnostic, read the Game Shark, the Famicom Box Retro Game Enthusiast, they could be Ghost and Goblins twice, Chefish, yeah, I know, it's a cool nickname, I'm pretty sure, it's probably not true, Chefish, come at me, I don't know, Sean, the Gamer, that was really rude, I don't know, maybe you can, Chefish, you're a god gamer, and you listen to the LJM podcast, super cool guy. Sean, the Gamer Collective, the New Craft, who can beat Mega Man without the pause trick, previously unknown variant, Tim Walker, from the internet, Todd Fisher, can't put limits on collecting, Fiji Collectaholic, The Millennium, Will Joe, Keeper of the Zelda variant, Zero X Def Code, previous game collector, Adam Kavanaugh, getting the full PS2 set because Stefan won't, all caps. What a 9.8 A++ Benji, the actually rare Bird Dog Gaming, dropping the Mario 64 Penguin off the map, Brandon Chalker, Brandon Rogers, whose favorite episode is the wrestling episode, Super Cedric Clark 2 Turbo, Christopher Piper, still shaking from what he found at Goodwill, still finding deals in 2023, Colton Murphy, David Iserman, it's in the game. A winner is him, David Green, Derek Lauer, who made me edit this show, Don Libby, the hero of time, Double Ugly presents Double Ugly, the official game of the movie, actually understands the Zelda timeline, Jeff Pierce, the actual Shinobi, there's 2 actuals right in a row, that's weird, the actual Shinobi, Jasonic the Kid, Jeff the Game Boy Ferris, he is Error, Jeff Russell, Jeremy Jarvis, here for the Pog Talk, Jeremy Matson, and the Order of No Quarter, Joe actually plays his games, Champ Pity, Video Game Art Collector because video games are art, Justin Tuccio, Strands Type Game, Chris Shipley, what a horrible night to have living in bits, Nick Kick the Video Game Database Morgan, Off the Map NZ Collector, the primary guy who collects Korean releases, Peaceful Games, Dungeon Master Reed Stubenik, the promoter, Retro RPG Podcast, Say Fuzzy Pickles for Shannon Willis, Sean the Video Game Illuminati LaCroix, Halo, Sean Razine, Saventorian, he knows all 97 Nintendo games, 32 bits or less, do the math! Andrew actually collecting N-Gage, the unusually rare Andy Hagens, Ben Parker, a bad enough dude to rescue the president, Chesno, all your base are belong to him, Colby, he is Sinistar, Corhagen does what Nintendo don't, Danny McArdle, who thought this was the Retronauts Patreon, the Modern Database, Danny Gomez, the Philatelist, Dork Overlord, the official biggest PlayStation fan, GameDashRave.com, Rip and Tear, Jackson Keebler, He Is Error, John Brown, Joseph Rogers got 50,000 on Double Dragon, collector of everything, including Atari, Kalen McAteer, video game console modding guy, MP3, homebrew mastermind, Divertov, Sam, Sega Mark III Marks, and Hedgemon of the Geek Empire. Valdor the Great, thank you guys so much.